What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. We're live with the T5S2 Season 8 Pod 2 Finals. I did put Pod 3 in there. I typoed it. We already did Pod 3. It was fast. But Pod 2 Finals is live now. We've got some Aeldari versus Adeptus Custodes. Over here in the red, a server legend, atValdor, playing Aeldari, #1 faction in the game right now. Fastest channel points ever made. Fastest gun in the West. Over there on those channel points. Speak of channel points, let's do a prediction, chat. Let's get it. Let's get that in there. We got some Custodes. We got some Aeldari. Let's put some bets down. So over here in the red, atValdor playing Aeldari versus over here in the blue. A little bit idiosyncratic because they are wearing red, but it is SawyerZ playing Adeptus Custodes. These beautiful Custodes models over here. So very much of a top tier matchup today. Aeldar, obviously, I think hands down, there's probably no discussion there, the strongest army in the game. Full stop. You can make a debate about Gene Stealer cults, but I think you'd be hard pressed to prove that. Custodes doing pretty well though for themselves, and the real question is whether they are going to be able to compete with the Aeldar. But we'll find out. We'll go through the players' lists as they are deploying. Both players taking tactical objectives today, so we'll see how we fare there. I know atValdor was saying that he's not super sure about the tactical objectives, but he is going to be playing them in this game. They do tend to exacerbate clock issues, and he tends to be kind of a slow player, so... Or I should say a methodical player. Not necessarily slow, because he just takes a lot of time to consider his actions. So that might be something we have to watch in this game. We'll see if that ends up being a deciding factor. SawyerZ over here with Adeptus Custodes also taking tactical objectives. They can do this pretty well with Alaris Custodian Terminators, although we'll see how many of those he has in Deep Strike. He does have 2 units of Alaris Custodians in Deep Strike. All right, let's jump into these lists. Chat ! Lists in the chat if you want to follow along. Gotta remember to thank the raccoon. We have a Agent X. I think I owe you an Inky treat, by the way. The next time she's on camera, we'll get you for that. I think you threw in an Inky treat after a game, and I was already clicking off, but I didn't miss it. But we were already rating at that point. 2 times you've Inky treated at the end of a game? Well, I only saw the 1 time, so I can't verify that. I'm pretty sure I could, but I wouldn't know how. But you gotta Inky treat during the game, not after the game. That's the secret technology. All right, let's talk about some lists, by the way. atValdor over here on the left-hand side of the table playing Eldar Parking Lot. This is basically... I think the list everyone was afeared of when they first showcased the Battle Host attachment abilities. And they said, hey, everyone, Master Crafters is back. Did you not miss that sub-faction ability where you get floating rerolls on everything? And so all of these Eldar, like single or double shot guns, are basically full rerolling all the time. That was good. In every edition that it's been present, it's been the best sub-faction ability probably in the entire game. And they reprinted it once again. And as... it does create armies like this. No Wraith Knights today, which is kind of nice to see. So Valdo's playing something a little bit different. Wraith Knights, I think, definitely the strongest unit in the faction. But we're going to be trying to make it work with the smaller, more interesting units today. We have 3 individual Fire Prisms with Shuriken Cannons, 3 Warwalkers with a Bright Lance and an Eldar Missile Launcher. That Missile Launcher is a little bit of a concession to Gene Stealer cults and to some of the Hordier matchups because they do give you a blast profile, rather than just focusing on 2 single-shot weapons, which can be very bad against, large infantry swarms. But all of these weapons, or most of these weapons, I should say, do have a blast profile. But Warwalkers with only Bright Lances don't really have that flexibility. We do have a unit of 10 Rangers. They're going to be attached to Illic Night Spear. See if I can pull Illic Night Spear's datasheet up here real quick. Any turn 1 forfeits? That's going to be the real question of the day. Don't know if I have Illic's datasheet pulled up, chat. We'll see if we can find it real quick. I believe that He does buff the damage output of those Rangers pretty significantly. Makes them pretty lethal with their precision weapons against characters. Don't know if I have him, chat. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll find him later. But then we also have an Autarch Wayleaper, who is, I assume, the Warlord. It's not noted here, but I imagine that that is going to be the decision of the day there to give him the CP regen. One Death Jester with Fate's Messenger to give him an auto 6, so he can trigger devastating wounds or sustained hits if he needs to blow up a bunch of units. The singleton Death Jester is extremely powerful. Sometimes you see double, just because having the second lone operative is nice, but the weird thing about them is that they can only turn on their super powerful gun ability once per round for all Death Jesters on the table. So if you, or once per turn. So you can, you can't fire with two Death Jesters and use their gun enhancements at the same time. A little funky. We have 2 units of 5 Shadow Specters with an Exarch attached, so they are 100-point units of 6 rather than 5. Gives you a little bit more bang for your buck. One of the cheapest independent model upgrades. It's only 4 points more than a normal Shadow Spectre, and it gets you a 6 model in that unit, which is nice. Doesn't hurt you on Blast, doesn't hurt you on Coherency anymore. So the 6th model is pretty good if you want to get some damage out of those guys, but they're also just good for utility purposes. And then 3 Void Weavers, excuse me. 4 would be cheating. 3 Void Weavers with Precision Cannons. A little bit of a typo on the list there, but these guys are basically, I think everyone's calling them kind of the 4-man's Fire Prism. They not only have a ton of Shuriken Cannon shots, but they can also fire a dispersed attack profile on their ranged weapon, or a single shot profile that's, or a low volume profile that's 4 damage, which is pretty exciting. We also have the Incarn, last but certainly not least in there. With this number of vehicles in the list, we can teleport the Incarn pretty often off the end of the vehicles dying. And then, obviously, when enemies die, you can also use it to act as your melee counterpunch. So you can destroy something, teleport the Incarn to where it was, and then charge out from that position to something else and try to kill them. Moving over to Sawyer's list. We are running a Blade Champion with the Ceaseless Hunter enhancement, so he's going to be able to reactively move after someone moves up within 9 inches of him. A Alaris Terminator Shield Captain with the Veiled Blade, so he's able to triple his objective secured once per game and gets a hefty attack bonus. Trehan Valorous himself, the Great Man, who looks like going to be joined into a Warden squad. The Wardens typically, they hit a little bit less hard than other Custodian infantry because they're mostly focused on being survivable. But Trajan in the unit does improve their efficiency quite a bit. He's able to ignore attack modifiers, so things like the lightning fast reactions on Aeldari units. He's not going to worry about on that whole unit. And then also, in addition to that, he also brings a 3 damage weapon to bear on top of the Warden attacks. We then have 2 units of 2 Alaris Custodians, 1 unit of 5. That 5-man Alaris Custodian unit has the Veiled Blade Shield Captain inside it. Let's see him over there with the Terminator armor. And he's going to be able to pick up with that unit and teleport around the table. So they can essentially turn 1 Deep Strike if your opponent goes first, because they enter the Teleportarium at the end of your opponent's turn. So they can do it on turn 1. And then because they are not in reserve, they can then arrive on the first turn. So they can come in on the bottom of turn 1, but not the top, importantly. So your opponent gets a chance to screen regardless, which is oftentimes the problem with turn 1 Deep Strike abilities like that. We then have 2 Caladius Grav Tanks and that big unit of Custodian Wardens alongside 1 unit of Voidsmen at Arms, who are currently being played by prosecutors today. We've just elected to keep with the Talons of the Emperor theme, I think, and put the Sisters of Silence there instead of the actual Voidsmen at Arms, but should not make a big difference here. But it is an actual Voidsmen at Arms squad, so they are just the sort of Guardsmen equivalents. They do have that little AP1 rotor cannon in them if they want to get some shots off. Not a Exaction squad, which I think is a little bit more efficient. They have assault weapons and are 5 points cheaper and have a feel no pain, but they don't hit as hard, so it is what it is. And that's what's going on. We're playing priority targets today, chat, so super simple mission. We're here on Entropic Fields with a Crucible battle deployment, so just this nice diagonal deployment. Pretty lazy game, to be honest, chat. Players are just going to be scoring 5 points for each objective marker they control at the end of their command phase, up to 10. Then they can score the objective markers a second time at the end of the game. That's what gives the second player a little bit of a leg up. Usually, missions will use bottom round 5 scoring for the second player to get an additional chance to score over the first player. Not today. Not for priority targets. Instead, the second player can just shoot the first player off of the objectives, and they won't get the opportunity to score on the last turn. Pretty good mission for Custodes, I think. Custodes are very good at surviving throughout the entirety of the game. But also, Aeldari certainly have a lot of weapons that can kill them. So it's going to be an interesting game, I think. Aeldari probably favored statistically, but who knows? A lot comes down to player skill, the card draws. And I think both these players are good enough that they're not gonna get caught out by anything in particular. How are people feeling about the game so far, chat? 54% for Aeldari, 46% for Custodes. It's probably pretty reasonable. We'll see how it goes. H&X, collect your winnings later. Agent, I hope you have a great day at work. Now let's go, chat. It is exciting to see Custodians sort of back into the driver's seat of the metagame. It's been a little while since we saw them, at least, you know, end of my 9th edition, they were okay, but they weren't the greatest thing ever. But since their win at USO Tacoma, I was just talking with the players about it. It seems like a lot of people picked up on Custodes immediately after that. They were like, oh, wow, Custodes is actually really good. And it turns out, I mean, this faction's just survivable enough and does enough damage in melee, and it pushes primary objectives so freaking hard. It might not be the best army in the game at scoring secondary missions. It's not terrible, but it usually has to commit really expensive units to do so, because the minimum Custodian squad that's not a Sister of Silence is 150 points, just about 135, I think, for basic Custodian guard. But usually you're doing it with units of 2 Alaris Custodians who are 130, if I remember correctly, for the 2 of them in the current edition, the current patch version. And that's a lot of points to dedicate to scoring an objective that you might not want to throw away. Yeah, it's Sawyer on the other side. He didn't put his... Thank you, chat. Blood for the Blood God, indeed. He didn't put his name in the score sheet, unfortunately. But even though I asked him to, some people, you know, they just do be like that. They want to play anonymously. This one is a fun one to play against. Yeah, Sawyer also... this is a little bit of an interesting deployment by Valder here. I don't know if he intended this Voidweaver to be visible through this wall. Right now, this Gladius Grav Tank could actually just peek out its guns and shoot it. I don't know if that's entirely intentional. That might not be. There is a clean line of sight through the middle here between these two points, and most things can put their weapons through the gap there. Most use large vehicles if they want to shoot through. We did also do some improvements to this map recently. I do think Valdor actually didn't quite appreciate them because they do restrict the movement on his vehicles a little bit. But the gaps in basically all of the ruins that have this in the pool, the Season 8 map pool, that have this conformation can fit a 60mm base through them. So the Voidweaver can actually pass through without a problem. In addition to that, 100mm base, I believe, is good to fit through both this direction and this direction. So things like Armigers and other big walkers, Redemptor Dreadnoughts and stuff can peek through there. So hopefully that will make the maneuverability of the Aeldari a little bit. They'll appreciate that a little bit, because basically nothing in this army can move through terrain. Here come the Rangers with Illic Night Spear. All right, let's grab that guy's data sheet while we were talking about it. All right, here we go, chat. Illic Night Spear. Here he is. Pretty interesting profile as a character attachment to Rangers. He does make that Ranger unit quite expensive, but he gives them full wound rerolls with their attacks. Not even just ranged attacks, also melee. So if you get them stuck in, they're actually going to punch you kind of hard. Although they are weak Eldar, so not that hard. A lot of AP0 stuff going on. But he himself is actually AP2, so it's not too bad. He himself has... he doesn't have lone operative, interestingly, so if you take him by himself, he's just going to get shot at. But he does make his unit... Oh, interestingly. No, he doesn't have to lead his unit to give them lone operative. He actually just gives your unit lone operative full stop. So he has it baked in himself because he doesn't have to be leading. And he will also grant it to his unit when he's joined to them. So they can't be shot at. They basically work like scout snipers. And then they also can shoot precision weapons with full wound rerolls. So that is a pretty scary unit. Very expensive. But they also act as a pretty good screen because they can move in response to enemies moving within 9 inches of them, so they can peel back. They have that that skulk ability, like Termagants do in the Tyranid faction. Pretty powerful ability. Putting our lone operatives down just in the back here. Not going to be hugely impactful for Valdor. Where these guys stand on turn 1. Yeah, nothing's really going to get them on the top of the first turn. Only have to worry about that stuff on round 2. So I think going to be a pretty passive first round for these players. Not a lot of shooting gonna be going on. If Valdor does get line of sight peeked at him, he can probably phantasm out of it because Aeldari are pretty good that way. And we'll see how the roll to go first goes.
I'm deployed, so we can roll for the first turn. I got a 6.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, Eldar going first. I actually think that's really bad for them. I do think Custodians would have really preferred to... yeah, I think Custodians would have are in a great spot going second here. Basically, they get to blank the entire turn 1 shooting from Eldar. If Custodians were going first, they would have to start pushing up into these areas into the center of the table. And the fact that they don't before the first Eldar shooting phase means that the Eldar are basically not going to have anything to shoot at whatsoever. I don't think there's any lines of sight we can squeak along the side here. Looks like we have measured out this line of sight and have determined that it's impossible, I imagine. Unless there's a line we could get a fire prism on somebody, but maybe not with its movement around the terrain. So probably going to be conservative here from Valdor. Let's take a look at what cards he drew for his first turn secondaries. Looks like we're cleansing. That's actually a pretty good one on the first turn, because you do usually have access to forward objectives. Second one being bring it down is unfortunate. That one's actually typically pretty bad against Custodes in general, because they tend to not bring that many monsters and vehicles. The only vehicles that they have are the Caladius Grav Tanks, and the Caladius Grav Tanks are super tough to kill. They have a 2+ base save. They are super long range, so they're not going to really be in danger. They're not moving up the table to grab forward objectives. So Bring It Down is typically a fairly dead drop against them. And even if you kill the Caladius Grav Tanks, if you draw it after that, then it doesn't do anything. So Valdor can't be too happy about that, but he should be able to get at least an easy 3 points on cleanse this turn by cleansing that one objective with Illic Nightspear and his Ranger team. Question is whether or not the Death Jester can get in range of the other objective. I don't believe he can.
I think you can golden light on the first turn, if I'm not mistaken, but I think my Unit of 5 could. I think. Only because they didn't start in reserve. They started on the board. But I don't know if that's... I haven't actually done
Okay, let's ask Trevi. Trevi, can you golden light on the first turn if you go second?
I've had someone tell me.
Okay.
Yeah, only reserves units can't, and those are things that start off the table. It's the same that 8th, 9th edition had.
Okay, so you could golden light the 5-man unit?
Yeah, but my big unit on the board can deep strike at the end of your turn.
At the end of my turn?
Yeah, so basically I pull them at the end of my turn, and then in the movement phase of my next turn, they come back in as...
Okay, so I do need to screen out that unit specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that is what I wanted to know. Then I will do that. So this Autark is gonna go back here.
Well, you went first, so you can do your movement. I'm gonna grab my whiskey.
All right. These guys can't shoot anything, so they're just gonna scooch up a tiny bit.
Sawyer preparing for the firestorm ahead. So Valdor does have to be a little bit aggressive here. He has to worry about those Alaris Custodians doing their hopscotch, jumping up and jumping down. The problem for Valdor with those Alaris Custodians is that they are extremely effective against everything in Valdor's army. I believe, besides the Shadow Specters, literally every single unit in the Aeldari army here is either a vehicle or is a character or has a character attached to it, which means that the Slayer of Tyrant ability on the Alaris Custodians triggers against all of it. So they get to full reroll their wound rolls against every single unit in the army besides the Shadow Specters. But to be fair, against the Shadow Specters, only T3 infantry, they don't really need the rerolls anyway. So those Alaris Custodians are going to be disgusting. The one thing you can do is hop them, jump them up, and then pop them down next to the Rangers outside 9 but within 12, so they're shootable. And you can't trigger their reactive ability to run away, to run back out of lone operative range. And then 6 ballistic grenade launchers and a bunch of Guardian Spears should actually probably just kill that whole unit, if not put them very low. Especially since they're blasting right now. So that would be something I'd be worried about as Valdor. He might just have to sack that unit in order for the Custodians to be put down on the table so that he can shoot them. But once those Custodians are committed, if they don't have the CP, they do have the Shield Captain, so they get a free stratagem, which is nice to use on -1 damage. But if they don't have that -1 damage, the unit gets vaporized very quickly by these high damage profiles on all of the Eldar shooting. So I think Valdor would be probably fine with that trade. So we're just going to be cleansing with the Rangers today. And then I think keeping things relatively safe otherwise. I would like to see the one thing that Custodes can do is we do have these Wardens here with Trajan Valoris kind of as far forward as they can be. So they are threatening a control on the center objective on the first turn if they roll just a 3-inch advance. If Sawyer is allowed to present only the Custodian Wardens as the targets for Valdor, Valdor's going to have to take the shot because he can't allow that unit to get into his backline. But that's the perfect position for a Custodian player. All you want to do is force your opponent to shoot into the Wardens in a single phase because they can pop their once per game 4+ feel no pain. And that makes that unit, basically 2 or 3 times harder to kill for an extremely limited amount of time. And if Valdor is forced to shoot all of his guns into there, he's going to do very little damage. What he can do... Yeah, I love this move. This is what Valdor needs to be doing right here. He's placing this Warwalker over here on this objective. This guy's going to be threatening a control of that objective. It is, despite how powerful Caladius Grav Tanks are, it's a little bit tough to get a line of sight. It looks like we can peek one maybe through this line here onto the Warwalker. But even a single Caladius Grav Tank is not even that likely to kill a Warwalker, just because of how difficult they are to kill. And they have a 4+ invulnerable save. They have -1 to be wounded, which is counteracted a little bit by the twin-linked weapons on the Caladius Grav Tank. But then you also have a 4+ invulnerable save baked in and Strengths of Fate dice to use on that. Take a look at what Valdor's Strengths of Fate roll is. Oh, here it is. Ooh, nice. Very nice. I like this. Yeah, tons of 5s and 6s to use. He doesn't have a Farseer in the army, so he's not going to be able to switch any of these 1s to higher dice. He's mostly just relying on his offensive power, but certainly going to use a Strands of Fate die there to try to keep the Warwalker alive if only one Caladius could shoot it. And Valdor wants to put Sawyer into a position where he has to reveal the Custodian guards here. So he has to throw them... This is such a hodgepodge of units. So we have one Blade Champion with Ceaseless Hunter. These Wardens are playing as Custodian guards today. And then we have this dude with his big old shield. Look at this model, chat. What an absolute Chad this guy is. That is a hefty shield he's carrying into battle. That is the 1 Presidium shield, guys. So he does give them a 4 wound model in order to take some hits on. But if those guys are forced to use the Blade Champion's Advance and Charge, first off, the threat of that ability is now off the table in order to get into the Warwalker. Valdor could easily Phantasm the Warwalker away to keep it safe if he doesn't need it anywhere else. And he then forces the Blade Champion to get out in the open, so he has multiple targets to shoot at, not just the Custodian Wardens. Now, I wonder if we are going to see a very passive turn from Sawyer, where he just presents the Wardens as a target and maybe tries to squeak some lines of sight with the Caladius Graph tanks, and like overloads the next turn. So if the Wardens eat all the shooting on one turn, then they get the most use out of their 4+ Feel No Pain. They can probably confirm control on one objective if Eldor doesn't kill them. And then he's basically free and clear to push everything out in the next turn. The problem is if the Wardens push out right now and then activate their 4+ invulnerable, their 4+ Feel No Pain, and everything else also commits into the fight, then Valdor would just shoot that stuff and kill it. And then the Wardens will be defenseless the next turn. It also, you could potentially set up situations where units can only get line of sight on the Wardens or something else, and then try to save your 4+ Feel No Pain, but it's a little bit tougher. The center of the map here is a little bit open, especially to the side, these side shots, so firing down this lane with the Warwalkers or firing down this lane with the models coming out of the side here or in the center, means that if you're trying to hold that middle objective, it is kind of tough, easy to get to.
Just gonna come up to like here. This Void Weaver 8. And then let's come up to here. This Fire Prism. It's just gonna scooch over here.
Look at this Lynx in this dominating position, though. This thing is ready to lay down the Daka with that big gun. Let's take a look at the Lynx real quick. This is basically it is a bit of an upgrade to the Fire Prism profile for Eldar armies. The downside is its physical mass, which makes it not only hard to hide and really easy to see, but it also can have trouble moving and can have trouble sort of squeaking lines of sight. Oh, I have to grab its data sheet real quick, chat. We were playing with a bunch of new models today, so don't know if I was entirely prepared.
And you could probably get guys into here if you wanted.
Here we go.
Like
So here's the Lynx profile. It's firing that big, huge pulsar. 4 shots at strength 16, AP 3 for D6 damage, plus its underslung weapon as well. It is so it's less high volume than the other units in the Eldar roster, but it is tough to kill. It's a bit got a baked-in 5+ invulnerable save, 16 wounds. It's incredibly fast.
Yeah, maybe
the pulsar weapon is assault, and it can move 23 inches on an advance, so that is what makes it slightly better at moving and shooting. But it does it doesn't have that targeting matrix like the Fire Prism does, so it doesn't have all those baked-in rerolls, and it is a random number of damage, so it doesn't hit quite as hard, although it does shoot more times. But it is also only a small upgrade from the Fire Prism.
Yeah, I mean, you could hold them right here, but
Yeah, no, Valdor doesn't often include things just for the sake of the model. I think he does think that it being... This list basically has the maximum number of Fire Prism equivalents in it, and I think that's part of the design. The links in there... Eldar lists typically want one big, huge inclusion in order to give them the best value out of their Fate Dice and Phantasm. So, I mean, if you can only Fate Dice one thing, right, it might as well be a roll that a Lynx shoots. And that's the reason that the Wraith Knight is so effective in Eldar lists. The Wraith Knight's super duper powerful, it shoots super hard, and it has great synergy with Strands of Fate because it's able to shoot devastating wounds out of its gun. So it is going to... it is just a super strong interaction with the Eldar faction abilities, and the smaller vehicles like this do that to a lesser extent, right? They give you more rerolls across the whole army with the Battle Host attachment, so having 3 Fire Prisms, 3 Warwalkers, 3 Void Weavers means that you're getting, a grand total of most likely 9 hit rerolls and 9 wound rerolls. You'll probably use one of each on all of those. So it's the most bang for your buck in terms of that. And then you can use those fate dice to like auto 6 the Lynx's guns to convert your hits to make sure it makes its invulnerable saves, or you can use your CP to phantasm it.
Charge phase, obviously not charging. Fight phase.
Opponent's turn.
Oh.
Okay, so I am, yeah, I'm gonna do the thingamabob, I think.
Okay.
Why I would have had to say it at the end of your turn. So
Yeah, I'm just before you do, just let me decide if I'm discarding my. So let the clock run on me. Let me decide if I'm discarding. Bring it down. So this goes. So discard is.
Yeah, I do think if Bring It Down sticks out here, Valdor's teasing a little bit here. He's got a Fire Prism looking out into the open.
Bring it down.
Partially maybe to threaten an Overwatch, but also means that the Cladius could pop out and Valdor could Phantasm it back, and then he has the Cladius to shoot at next turn.
How many wounds?
I think that Sawyer might actually not take the bait here if Bring It Down is kept, because if the Cladius protrude themselves and then get killed by Bright Lances, then
If I manage to kill
that's
one
just
next
free
turn,
points for the Eldar.
Sure, I'll keep it. All right, go ahead.
So we're going to keep it.
okay.
That is a fairly easy keep here because, again, like you do want Sawyer to push forward, but if the Custodians see that they're representing that tactical objective and they just simply don't attack you with their big tanks in order to prevent that from happening, then you basically get the tempo advantage there. And it's not like you're going to have nothing to shoot at as the Eldar player. So Sawyer has a question. He did say he was going to be golden lighting his troopers here. I think what we're going to try to do is potentially create a situation where the Lynx can screen out good shots on it, and then we can also make it where the Custodians have a tough time shooting both the Lynx and the Rangers. If they push in super hard to try to kill the Rangers, we're just going to see a Phantasm from them to be out of shooting range, thanks to Lone Operative. But it looks like, yeah, that little building in the side there might be a good place to be. The Custodians might literally be taller than the walls here. It's only 3 inches tall, and the Custodians are pretty big. So they could potentially just go inside the cover and call that good. But if they overcommit onto the Rangers, Valdor's going to be super happy to Phantasm them. But the way to defeat Phantasm is to present your opponent multiple threats that they could Phantasm away from. So he could also advance the Blade Champion up the table and force the Warwalker to consider a Phantasm too, and then Valdor has to pick. It also kind of depends on what the tactical objectives pulls are for Custodes, but he has to make the determination whether he's going into reserve before he draws.
Oh, sorry. So they wouldn't be coming in until your reinforcement stuff.
Yeah, I just can't look at my tacticals until I decide.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
what
look at
we're
your
discussing
tacticals
right
until
now.
you decide whether you're using it. I got you.
For example, if I knew I had Assassinate, I would just do this in 4 seconds, but I can't.
Yep.
No, really. I'm gonna get shot at a lot.
That would be an easy Phantasm if Sawyer drew Assassinate right there. Easy peasy.
Let's do it. So I am gonna bring
Okay.
Okay. My thingamabobs. So I draw 2. And stronghold and a tempting target.
Interesting pulls for Sawyer.
So you have to pick one in no man's land, and I get 5 if I hold it, and I'm going to recycle defense strongholds. 4 also wins. All right, it's not amazing.
When do I pick? Pick now?
I'd imagine. Yeah, when it's drawn, it says.
Okay. Oh, you.
Oh, so defense stronghold cycles because it's the first
do I-
battle round, unfortunately. Yeah, that's
I'm
an
gonna pick-
auto success, basically, if you pull it on
I'm
turn
gonna
1.
pick this one.
So that one automatically goes back into the deck. It could be drawn later. So instead, we're going to get Cleanse and Tempting Target. So Cleanse has made a return for the Adeptus Custodes here. On the other side, Tempting Target's going to force Valdor to choose an objective marker that Sawyer then needs to control
I should put
in order to score that secondary. And that's actually, this is always such an interesting mind game whenever somebody draws that Tempting Target, because there's so much, it's such a question of whether or not you pick an objective that is difficult or impossible for your opponent to control. So we could do, for example, this objective right here, which is, you know, a solid pick. There is, unless we see the Aeldari's Custodians come like 9.1 inches away from the Rangers, no Phantasm happen, and then they make a charge on the Rangers instead of shooting them to death, then that could take this objective. But I believe that's basically the only way we see Sawyer take that without some ridiculous dice. But you could also try to force Sawyer into the middle, basically, with the Wardens. But it looks like we're going to be picking that top objective, yeah, so it's going to be tough. And that opens up a question mark of whether or not the Wardens get to the center. You could bring the Aeldari's Custodians down if the Wardens can't get there, and that wouldn't be too bad either. But what it would do is force Sawyer to commit a lot of different units. So it looks like we got a big 6-inch advance of the Blade Champion squad, so they're going to be pushing up the center here. Does look like the lines of sight for them are a little bit tough, but these ruins on the side are very small, remember, so the Void Weaver can certainly jump up and down and be able to shoot them. It is going to be a little bit in danger, but that might not be a problem. And Sawyer is, yeah, towing, looks like lipping around the terrain. So I imagine if we don't see a Phantasm on the Warwalker, this unit is going to be using its advance and charge. But again, Sawyer's going to give Valdor 2 opportunities to Phantasm here, whether or not it's one of these units over here that could get shot by the Aeldari's Custodians, or it's this Warwalker. We'll just have to find out. Watched the video about Yellowscribe 2.0. I had a quick question. Have I ran into an issue where the hotkeys for changing wounds throws up a null value error? I have. Yeah, Yellowscribe, the data set in Battlescribe isn't 100% optimized for Yellowscribe yet, and it has some errors in it. Some models don't get scripting correctly. Some models don't get scripting at all. Some models like don't display. I know weapon profiles right now are really problematic. So some models don't display weapons correctly. You just kind of gotta play around with it for a while. Some models you just have to keep track of the wounds manually, but you can still use Yellowscribe to use auras and highlights and stuff like that, which is still useful. Oh, big 4-inch advance on the Custodian Warden, so they get to the center of the table here. That's a big deal for Sawyer. Pretty easy gameplay. So now what Valdor has to do is, I think, basically refuse flank this Warden squad. If the Aeldari's Custodians come down over here, he can basically just cede the center of the table and just throw it away. Get the Rangers up. If he pulls the Rangers exactly outside 12 inches of the Aeldari's Custodians, assuming they decide to come in over here, he could then potentially use a Fire and Fade to try to body block the Wardens from getting farther up at the table with them. And then basically just shoot everything on the table that isn't called a Custodian Warden if he forces Sawyer to use his 4+ Field No Pain.
It's hard to see the edge. What is... Nope. I don't know if it'll matter, because I think this is the one where you only have to be on 2 objectives, but... It might matter.
It's just 5. It's 5 each to 10. So
Ooh. Here they come, boys. Here come the sexy Stodies. I'm going to take some shots at these Rangers. I bet there's a position where Valdor can hold this objective and not be within 12 inches of the Aeldari's Custodians. I bet that exists. Or of like maybe one Aeldari's Custodian, because that does check each model. If he phantasms maybe this way to this point, then I think maybe he takes very limited damage. He could like open up a 12-inch charge that could get them in there, but that would be a little bit rough. Well, maybe it is going to be a little bit closer than it looks. Yeah. Might stay 9 inches away if we end up just living there. Alright, well, it's a good drop, I guess. Now, this would be an interesting Overwatch as well. We have Fire Prisms, and we have the Lynx that could fire into them. With almost no cover, I think. Which is pretty terrifying. And Valdor does have 6s in the pool, remember? Oh, a single
So
6,
with
only the one.
new terrain, can I, if I'm like half in, half out here, can I shoot like this? Like, can I just
No, you have to be completely on it.
not be completely on it? Okay. Can I even be completely on this? Well, I can.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
If you're on the, if you're half out on this side, you can shoot out of it. But you're half out on this side, you can't shoot. You can only shoot on the side that you're half out of. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out shots over
Yeah, the reason that that's relevant is that obviously you draw lines of sight in ways that don't cross over the ruin. So if you are sticking out of one side of the ruin, your line of sight can protrude from the part of your base or your model that's protruding just fine. Don't know if they have any line of sight. Oh, I guess they could maybe fire downrange into the other fire prism on the other side. That's a little scary. I'm actually
You're not even possible for you to move up and move
not
down.
totally sure why Valdor exposed this fire prism. It feels like it's just going to die. Or at least it's just going to be shot at. Maybe there is no line of sight there? No, it looks pretty clear.
So what is it?
2 Caladius grab tanks on a fire prism does look a little bit scary. Yeah, but we don't have the line.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. I think it's if I rotate it, I'm not completely in. But anyway, so I think if I measure from the tip of this, it's 10 to just put the like because you're rotating basically 90. Right?
Yeah. But if you go over the edge on the front, then you can see.
Right. Okay. Let's see if that's even doable here. I mean, I guess I can just rotate its butt out.
That's actually probably easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's faster.
So its butt goes to here.
Yeah.
And it pivots.
He's using the Constantine Valdor model when fighting Valdor. Yeah, that's true. That's the Terminator shield captain, right?
6.
There he is. Welcome back from the Horus Heresy, my good sir.
Move
My Lord Commander of the Custodian Guard.
Pivot.
Welcome
You can
back.
turn off 3D measuring.
He died, right? Did he die? Or is he still around? I don't know the lore.
I don't know.
I missed.
I do remember back in the day when I was doing my first ever battle reports for Warhammer 40k when I first started in 8th edition. I would constantly, because I had just come off reading Horus Heresy books, I would constantly call Trajan Valoris Constantine Valdor. It was
Yeah,
a
it's probably like a
Constantine
2-inch pivot.
problem. It was really bad.
7 inches. So, yeah, that's.
So how
that's
we doing
9
today,
inches
chat?
total.
This seems like it's shaping up to be a pretty interesting game. Lots of counterplay between these two factions, which I always love to see. Obviously, Custodians have a pretty solid matchup at almost anything in the game. I think there are very few factions that don't give Custodians don't give a run for their money,
Oh yeah.
honestly.
Just,
Just on a
um,
sort of pure matchup basis.
and that's it for my movement.
The King in yellow. Is that a Lovecraft thing?
No, it's really where I don't want a phantasm.
All right.
Do I think? What's the
So we're off to Valdor's the Phantasm phase, end of opponent's movement phase. So lots of good options here. We could pull the Warwalker out of danger of the Custodian Guard. If we see the Fire Prism here survive and it can draw beads of the Custodian Guard, the Warwalker and the Void Weaver actually do kind of a number on those guys,
All of them are
which is unfortunate for them. Valdor would like to shoot everything, I think, at this Custodian Guard before as quickly as possible because they do die so much faster than Wardens. It's crazy. They're like 2 layers of defensive effects below Wardens on the scale of killability for Oedipus Custodes. And their offensive power is so much higher. So everyone you can kill before it gets to melee is huge.
You don't have any way to move in your. Oh, you pass the turn to me. The clock to
There's
me.
a whole area of the warp with
You don't have
good
any way to
demons
move
and
in
stuff?
your-
What? That's nuts. That's so wild.
You're shooting.
40k extended lore is crazy.
rather than Charging.
There's always like
unless you like,
it's all, I mean I guess it comes from having like 45 years of lore written about the game, right? But there's always some like weird
This is a
entry in an RPG book somewhere that's bizarre.
9.
Like, guys, did you know the Emperor manifests demons sometimes? They're called living saints. Thanks for the follows, everybody. Nepotism. I'm available for some nepotism if you're a follower of me on Twitch. No worries about that. Soul Strider as well. Thank you so much.
Actually, that's still my movement. If I just got one of these guys, I'll just make that a 9. Whatever. Let's see. Because I haven't shot anything yet. Yeah, I'll just move. Let's see. Can I actually just close that distance? Yeah, let's see what I mean. So I'll just spread out more.
Oh, that's too close.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's
Maybe
like
Sawyer
right where-
didn't consider the Phantasm move here. Looks like we're in some take back hammer now. That's okay. Just making it so I think that the Rangers can't remain on the objective and be outside threat range of the Custodians. And these guys are the Veiled Blade unit, so you can walk back onto that objective. Those guys don't get the reactive move. The reactive move's down here on the Blade Champion. So can't move around him. He'll get mad. But the Alaris Custodians are fine with it. They don't really care what you do.
Yeah.
Inconsistencies
Okay.
in lore is explained by unreliable Imperial records. Yeah, it is it's a perfect universe for a miniatures game, right? Because the miniatures game has so much personalization to it by virtue of its by virtue of the genre, right? You have to, like, if you can't canonically explain custom, like, conversions and paint jobs and custom characters within the lore of your miniatures game, then you failed as a storyteller. And Warhammer 40k is such a perfect example of that, because it's so broad, and like you said, you know, there's so much, like, misinformation, warp chicanery, there's literal time travel in the universe, you know, alternate reality stuff. You can explain away literally any player's, like, sort of modeling decision or whatever, and I think that's wonderful.
Alright. Your turn.
Okay. Let me just see the Rangers stat. Yeah. Okay. I will shoot stuff. I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah, chat. We could declare a
all the
9-incher on the
grenade
links
launchers
here, for
into
sure.
the Rangers.
They're
Might be
more
a little
than
bit
12
longer
inches
actually because
away.
of the size of the base, but
right.
we'll see.
Well, I'll just put everything in the links. From the.
Where do I want to? Lightning fast here. Do I want lightning fast in the fire prism? A lot more can shoot the fire prism. I think you even kill. Do you reroll against? Oh, you do reroll against the links. You reroll hits and wounds, or just wounds?
Eat bolt gun or eat guardian spear, chat? That's the real
Do you
question.
ignore penalties to hit? No, not this unit.
That's not traded.
Yeah, we'll lightning fast this guy.
All right.
So again, CP, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 66 blasts. Everyone's in range, I believe. Yeah. 66 for 15. Hitting on 3s because you lightning fast. Wow. And then wounding on 6s rerolling. 2 at -1.
So with cover, it's fine.
And spears, 12 shots. 6 is removing. 2 more.
It's fine.
I will do this Cladius into the fire prism. I can
Mhm.
only shoot. I'll do its actually not. 'Cause I'm
So
not
lightning
so-
fast there, really
so-
saving the links a ton of damage. Didn't really take anything from that shot, despite all those rerolls.
I guess I'm out of range of the fire prism with the little gun, so I'll do the little gun into the void.
Okay.
Because I think it's only 36. Yeah, so big gun into the fire prism first. So this auto wounds. I'm gonna need a CP for. I need damage reduction. Oh, I'm just gonna spend it. I'm not gonna reroll the hit roll for 1. Okay, and then these are winning on 3s probably. What's your toughness? Less than 12?
Probably 9.
Okay, 3s are rolling.
Yeah, T9.
Okay, 4 wounds at minus 3.
3, so I have cover, so it goes to 2, so I'm on 5s. How much damage these do?
D3 plus D6 plus
Alright.
2.
So I'm just gonna roll the first 3 and have you do the damage for them. Okay, so do the damage on 2 of them.
It is 9 plus 4 is 13.
13 damage. Oh, that's enough.
I think that so the Fire Prism, if I am reading the board state right here, is in range of both Caladius Grav tanks. I'm not really sure why it wasn't hiding, honestly, but I don't believe that a lightning fast reaction saves it from 2 Caladius Grav tanks. Maybe 1, but certainly not both. So you might as well mitigate the damage here. You can fall back, shoot, and charge if the Lynx ends up surviving, and this is a bit of a long charge, so it's likely that not too many Alaris Custodians get to swing on it. So it's not super likely that the Custodians kill it. And this thing would just get charged by the Custodian Guard either way.
3 at minus 3.
Now, the thing to remember here too now, chat, is that this unit is in a little bit of danger because we have 2 units of Shadow Specters off on reserve for our Eldar friends. And those things eat up Custodian Guardsmen so quickly. They have a 3 damage gun into a 3 damage profile. The only damage mitigation available to them would be their -1 damage strat. Arcane Genetic Alchemy, I think, is what it's called. Oh, that's the old transhuman. The new one might be called something different. But they can be -1 damage for 2 CP. But that's 100% of the Custodian CP at the start of the turn. And only the Alaris Custodian unit is going to be able to use that stratagem for free. So I think there's a 9-0 chance we get... this unit gets largely bodied this coming turn. We'll see.
Don't think.
So that's the end of my shooting.
Well, no, I have to decide.
Yeah, it's sad about the Prism. Yeah, it felt aggressive from the Eldar. It didn't really feel... It didn't need to screen out there. It didn't have any shots, I don't believe, on anything. Nobody took damage from it, yeah. I think it could have had, for sure.
Talk to me if you want. You would get to shoot me. You would have to hit me a bunch of times. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, it does help a little
so
bit that he did force the Grav tanks to come forward, and then he now has Bring It Down to use against them. I'm a little bit worried that he has, if he doesn't put all of the shooting into the Custodian Guard, he's not going to kill them quickly enough. And so keeping that Bring It Down might have been a bad play for Valdor here, in hindsight. Like, he's going to have the opportunity to kill Caladius Grav tanks. If he focus fires one of them, he could probably kill it, because he doesn't have, like, infinite line of sight on them. The lines of sight that he can cut to this one are pretty limited along this line down the bottom. Maybe 1 or 2 shots through the middle, but any of the shots that are going to them are shots that aren't killing Custodian Guard. And those are not going to be getting him Bring It Down. We could just see Valdor new orders it, though, to be fair. I don't know how much he's going to be spending his command points on things that aren't defensive this game.
Let's just... Actually, I was asking Trevi's how that works. Is Valdor correct?
What's the question? Sorry.
Can I use the CP reroll stratagem with my strategic master from my shield captain, because it targets the model's unit?
Yeah,
not the model?
command reroll doesn't target anything though.
Okay, so you cannot use it.
Yeah, it doesn't have a target selection in the stratagem, so it doesn't work with rites of battle effects.
I guess I could just reroll it the old-fashioned way.
You could reroll it the old-fashioned way. That is true. It's more, do you want to?
I mean, it'd be kind of good, but then I don't have CP for -1 damage. I mean, I could just use it for free on the Aeldari, but then you shoot the Wardens flank, just 4 up the Wardens. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm rolling it. I'm rolling it. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it for me. I don't score.
All right, so Alaris tried the charge on the links, failed it. We used the CP reroll, failed it again. So no tempting target for Custodes. They did... What was their second pull here? Cleanse. They scored Cleanse because the Wardens do have assault weapon, so they can advance to the center objective and cleanse that one, even while moving quickly. Overwhelming Force pulled for... Oh my god. This is kind of a comedy of errors over here on the tactical objective front. Overwhelming Force pulled for Valdor, so he has to destroy units on objectives, and the only good one he has is the Warden Squad, which is basically one of the hardest kill units in the game. What he could do, however, is focus fire these Voidsmen at arms down. I think a cheeky little deep strike down here might just pick up that whole unit real quick. You do open yourself up to Caladius grab tanks, which is a little bit unfortunate. And potentially Alaris Custodians coming in to try to get you. But it does get you 5 points if you're, or at least 3 points if you're able to kill that unit. And also, this grab tank I don't believe is on this objective. No, it's definitely not. So if Valdor deep strikes and kills those Voidsmen, it's a Voidsman with big gun. If Valdor deep strikes and kills the Voidsmen, not only is he getting 3 points on his secondary, but he's also denying 5 points on primary, since Sawyer only holds a single other objective right now. So that is an 8-point swing if he elects to go for that. But again, that's less shots going into Caladius grab tanks, and it's less shots going into Custodian Guard. So take your pick, I guess. But I do think... you know, the board is set, the pieces are moving here. I would be shocked if we didn't see really like a full commit from Valdor. What he has to do here is start to shoot all of his high damage weapons into the Alaris Custodians first, and try to force out that free use of the -1 damage stratagem on those guys. If you do see it used, the Rangers over here can re-target their shots into Trajan Valoris. They do have precision weapons. There's a non-zero chance they actually axe that guy, which would be pretty disgusting, because I think they can get around cover. So they'd just be forcing him on a 3-up save, and 4 of those fail just kills him. So that's a little scary, actually. If you lose Trajan Valoris before his abilities activate, that's super tough. And I don't believe that I believe that he has to trigger his invulnerable save in response to at the beginning of the phase. He might be able to trigger it in response to an attack, in which case you at least get his moment shackle used, and then you could just target your precision attacks elsewhere. Take a quick look-see here.
Oh, I can go this way.
Yeah, it's at the start of the fight phase, so it doesn't even work on ranged attacks. Yeah, if he just eats 10 sniper shots, there's a not insignificant chance that dude just goes down. That would be a huge swing. That also makes the Custodian Wardians easier to kill for the next turn. Now, Valdor does have to put himself in a position where he has line of sight to the Wardens to try to bait Sawyer's use of his 4+ Feel No Pain out here. But I think that if the 4+ Feel No Pain gets used, Valdor has to retarget immediately. But he has enough targets that it's not like he's losing any efficiency shooting at the Wardens without the Feel No Pain active. Or while they're shooting at something else while their Feel No Pain's active. If he only has one gun, he might be able to get a shot at them without the use of the ability.
Oh, I guess I could get lit up by this thing. I guess I don't want to. I guess I need to be like this. I don't get shot by that.
And Deep Strike hide from the bottom grab tank with a shoot and scoot. Oh, that's a good call, chat. Yeah, the Shadow Specters would come in and then probably tuck behind this wall right here. Yeah, that's a really good call out. Yeah, that's definitely the drop. They do have that blast attack. So Shadow Specters, that's one of the reasons they're so good. I mean, they're so maneuverable. They're hyper maneuverable. They're incredibly strong at shooting at heavy infantry, just like these Custodians have. You know, basically, they're good into Space Marine matchups, which you're always going to see in tournaments. You're, especially in-person tournaments, you're likely to see a Space Marine basically every single. You're writing or drawing where the links is for a pre-measurement here. Yeah, they're good into heavy infantry. They're serviceable into vehicles. Their strength's a little bit low, but their AP and damage is high. So that's pretty solid. But then they also have that AP1 blast profile. So they would be shooting 5d6 plus, or excuse me, 6d6 plus 6 strength 4 AP1 shots into this voiceman. No way those guys survive without some insane dice happening.
It's probably fine, honestly. All right, so this thing is going to advance, so it can go like this.
If he can snipe Trajan, he can teleport any end card. Oh my god, yeah, that's true,
Goes up
chat.
to move,
Oh, that would be so disgusting. Especially since the Aeldari Custodians are not on this objective. They currently cannot fight first, because you have to be in range of an objective for Custodians to fight first on reactively. Trajan is the other source of fight first that the faction has. But if he's dead, you know, obviously you don't care about that. Oh, that would be like game over, man. If Trajan died right there, that would be insane. That'd be such a swing. You'd lose so much efficiency out of this Warden unit. You'd lose like his damage output. Oh my god. Shadow Spectres into 20 Neophytes. It was wild. Oh yeah, dude. My game yesterday against Genestealer Cult was rad. It's a real shooting into 20-man units is like a real treat in this game right now with mass blast. Too many consonants in that phrase. Mass blast. With mass blast, you could get like plus 24, plus 30 shots on your units if they're big enough. Plus 40 maybe. I was watching there was a game from it was Art of War versus Tundra Tactics, I think, at American Team Championship. And Barb Gaunts were firing 10d6 plus 40 into Neophyte bricks. Blast is a hell of a drug. I do appreciate the Cult Ambush mechanic. It's a little bit busted. At least it was unreleased. I think it's actually fine now. I think Cult Ambush, they've done a lot to fix it. Because you have to keep the ambush tokens so safe to prevent them from getting screened or destroyed. And it really like reduces the efficiency of the redrops. But an army of T3-5 up-save dudes has to have a respawn mechanic to survive in 10th edition. The high volume blast shooting is too efficient and too common, in my opinion. Math blast.
And then this Death Jester.
Yeah, he would get the 4+ Feel No Pain, but I think the question is whether or not Sawyer drops it. You take the shot 100% if Sawyer uses it, right? The downside, I think, that the way the Trajan survives that pretty reliably is that you use the 2 CP -1 damage on Trajan's unit instead of 4+ Feel No Pain, or in addition, who knows? Then they're only hitting him for 1 at that point, and he probably's not going to die. But if it's only the Lynx, it looks like to me right now, the Lynx, the Rangers, and like the stuff down here that can shoot at the Warden. So if you pop the Feel No Pain right now, they're going to be kind of exposed for next turn. That said, I think that a lot of Valdor's shooting is going to go to these Aeldari Custodians. He has to kill them right now. He's really teeing up for it. And we'll definitely see that Rites of Battle effect used on the -1 damage on them. Why are we dropping here? What does this drop? I guess we're shooting at the Aeldari Custodians. The Shadow Spectres, at the very least, don't really care about the Custodians -1 damage if they pop it. Because they have 2 damage weapons. And so they would be able to... they would be shooting through it anyway, basically. I really want to see these guys shoot into the Custodian cards, though. Yeah, we're just going all in on this Laris Terminators. Yeah, that's fine. Seems good. $72 shots versus Genestealer Cults? Yeah, for sure. He could Spectre Bomb the back objective, charge the Incarn into it? Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the play for sure. Giving Custodian vehicles -1 to hit feels really bad for them, because they don't have any rerolls anymore. Back in the day, Trajan used to give them reroll 1s. Right? He did do that, I think. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm misremembering. but when they're hitting on 3s with no access to rerolls at all, if they always drop like 2 shots from the laser cannons, and that's such a huge loss of power. I do wonder if Trajan just turns around and goes to punch the end card, though. If she ends up popping in. But then he loses the middle objective. That would be a disaster. Yeah, we'll see if Aldor sees that play. I hope he does. It's so good if he steals that back objective.
Or we leave the last 2 out. Those are not very good into. Well, they're better than other things. I don't really want to go over there yet. All right, we'll call that good. That's all I'm bringing in out of Deep Strike.
Chat. He doesn't see it. No, no, Valdor, no. Valdor, that's so many points. That's 8 points and an in-card charge on the table. Oh no!
That springs. You could bring in some stuff in the middle here, but that's okay. All right. Okay. Any Overwatch?
That's big right there.
Movement phase. Oh, I guess it would have been that well. It would have been as these are.
Yeah, I don't know if Sawyer lets that happen a second turn. He could just put some Alaris Custodians down there and prevent that from happening entirely. Oh, that's big. That's big and scary. It's, to be fair too, chat, this wouldn't be possible if these guys were strategic reserving onto the table. We also left a Voidweaver in strategic reserve. That's so interesting and weird. That would not be possible if those guys were strategic reserving because they can't go in the enemy deployment zone. But Shadow Specters just naturally deep strike. They just have the normal deep strike 9 inches away from anyone anywhere on the table. So there is nothing preventing Valdor from dropping there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you force one of the 2-mans to come in. Ooh, this is a... Wow. A spicy rapid ingress from the Alaris Custodians dropping in. Right in line of sight of a Voidweaver, which is a little bit scary, but also this Death Jester? I guess it pulls focus from the Wardens, so I think you maybe just don't declare the 4+ field no pan on the Wardens this turn. Because it's a disaster if Valdor leaves all these Alaris Custodians alive. I don't think he's allowed to shoot the Wardens right now, except for maybe the shot on Trajan.
With let's see this one. No, I can see you with the Void Weaver, but not with the Warwalker. Void Weaver can see you, Warwalker cannot see you. All right.
I will say, chat,
so we'll start with
the level of reactive abilities in 10th edition is a little bit daunting if you're not used to it, but I do think it makes the game much more interesting. Rapid Ingress was a it's a super powerful stratagem. It's ridiculously strong, but it makes the game so much more interesting.
Do these guys have cover from this Fire Prism?
I don't know, but I think yes, because you basically like can't. Oh, actually, I don't know. If this was like a multi-model unit, it's like I would definitely have cover, but I don't know how it works when it's just one model. So I think you can do this, but then even then, this guy would have cover.
So this guy has cover, but I think if
cover.
I draw from here, I can draw to, or draw from like this point. Yes. I can draw to this guy and this guy and this guy. I think this guy. I think the 2 guys in the end have cover, and the 4 guys in the middle don't.
Okay, that's right.
Okay. All right. So we just have to make a decision.
Let me double check when I have to use this strategy here.
damn it. Oh, whatever. So it's fine.
I think we're probably gonna need to fire and fade that Death Chester. That's probably what we're considering here. Are we?
Alright, so we can. It's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready. Or flip it back to me when you're done.
Yeah,
We're
it's
holding for Sawyer's
Strength.
reactive abilities here.
Okay. So
Is that a
I
4+
think
on
for
the warden
sequencing
spots?
purposes, let me check the timing on fire and fade. End of your shooting phase.
Is Valdor tired? I don't think so.
Oh, okay, so it's at the very end.
This is just kind of how he is.
Okay, so it's at the end of my shooting phase. All right. All right, so this fire prism, I guess the green fire prism will put his. No, that's a bad order sequencing. This Void Weaver will put his big gun into the Aloris that are inside, and he'll put his. Actually, he'll just put all of his shots into these guys over here.
Okay.
So we'll do the big gun.
These Void Weavers are so good at picking up Alar's Custodians. They have a 4 damage main gun. They got all these floating rerolls from the battle host. Oh, not good if you roll 1 into 1 though. And then it's high strength, high AP.
Yeah, strength 12.
So not unreasonable chance it just pops a dude here.
Oh, so wounding on 3s with a reroll.
Very nice.
1 wound.
Yep. There he goes.
Kills 1.
That was a very
Spark
aggressive
4
rapid ingress, by
damage.
the way.
Invisible.
Extremely
And
aggressive.
then the other guy.
2 Void Weavers and a Death Chester with clean line of sight into that unit. I think probably just kills them 9 times out of 10. It's a little bit scary.
And then 5s. Nothing. Okay. The green fire prism is gonna put his shuriken cannon into this Aloris, and he's gonna put his big gun linked fire into the grab tank.
Okay, I'm doing -1 damage for free on the Polaris unit.
Which one?
The
No,
Alar-
into this Aloris.
Oh, that guy. No, yeah, definitely not doing.
Okay. All right, so the big gun into the grab tank.
Is there a line of sight there?
Reroll. 1 hits.
Isn't
1
that green
wound.
fire prism?
Yeah.
Can't see that tank.
Linked fire.
Oh, through the other guy. Yeah.
Linked fire. Its strength is higher than 11, I presume.
Oh, linked fire, chat. It's been too long since I've seen a fire prism.
That's 6.
Everybody dropped them when Wraithguard became popular. Maybe we'll see them again now that Wraithguard got nerfed. But I think Wraith Knights are still the name of the
little
game.
gun into the Aloris. I have 1 more hit reroll.
Just remember
That's considered an
Eldar.
explosion.
That's true, chat. That's very true.
1 more wound reroll.
Makes it even sadder for Valdor that he lost that first fire prism. Could get everybody through on this guy. Pew pew pew. Amurian, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the game. By the way, chat, we have our first semifinals T5S2 Invitational games scheduled tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern. So the other semifinals on Saturday. You just gotta gank this guy with the second fire prism, right? Just burn that dude. Are we considering a Incarn teleport here? Valdor, don't do it. He's got CP for a fight first. He does, right? That's only 1 CP, I believe. I'm gonna verify that real quick, just so I don't misspeak here. Just kidding, he doesn't. It's 2 CP. Oh no, but it's Valdor. I called him Valdor. I said I would do it. It's Trajan. He'll just fight first. What are you doing? What are you doing, Valdor? Don't do it. I don't think that's a great in-card teleport, honestly.
All right. We'll go with this Fire Prism, or not Fire Prism. This Void Weaver over here. He's gonna put his big gun into the Aeldari, and he's gonna put his Shuriken Cannon into the Wardens.
Oh man, these
one
misses
hits.
though are very upsetting.
1 wound.
All right, invulnerable save guy. Oh, he makes it.
Then
And then his Shuriken Cannons.
So could do it with the Death Jester if we just convert a couple of devastating wounds with his gun.
Akers.
Jesus. Look at these misses over here.
And they're T6 or T5?
They're T7. Terminators.
Uh,
Oh, sorry, the Wardens. They're T6. They're T6.
okay, so there's with the wound reroll still 1 at AP1.
Okay, well, someone has cover, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We'll shoot this Death Jester into the Aeldari, the lone Aeldari.
The
He's gonna
Alotus.
turn one of his hit dice into a 6 with his ability, and then he will roll his other 2 shots. Does he hit on 2s or 3s? I think he hits on 2s.
The Solaris.
So 5
Very
hits.
good. Very good, Chad.
Devastating wound.
He's definitely a Custodes 1 guard, right?
And it is strength 6 devastating wounds. With a reroll.
Oh, look at
so
this.
2 mortal wounds.
Look at this frickin' Death Jester, chat. Oh, there was only 1 auto wound there. 2 mortals going through. If we see a 1 here, it could be bad for the Custodian. Nope, he rolled all 2s. Just kidding. Covers a hell of a drug.
On 4-ups, because I'm Custodes. Huzzah!
Okay.
Jesus. All right. Well, there you go.
This Fire Prism is gonna put his.
Well, the adage is to just roll all your 4-ups as Custodians. And so far, so good.
Big gun.
We did get 1 hit through on the Caladius Grav tank. Gonna see if we can kill that thing.
Custodians.
I'm wondering if Valdor is gonna go basically all in on it. Feels like it could be an overextension, but we'll see.
I want to use a strat in case you just divert the fire into the Warden's on his way.
Yeah, Ingress did pay off. Although, to be fair, it probably shouldn't have. Although, yeah, because this Fire Prism already shot. Yeah. Could turn the Fire Prism around, just burn that guy, but probably not. Not worth the gunshot. Turns out when both Void Weavers miss an attack, that's unfortunate.
And then 3.
Basically, rolling 4
shots to those guys.
ones
I've
out of 8
got
dice.
1 hit and 1 wound reroll left. Don't need the hits. That's a sustained, and then wounding on 5s.
So
One
what gives you more than 1 of each? Is that like a?
The Fire Prism special ability.
Oh, okay. They just get to use.
They
it.
give you an extra hit and wound reroll.
Okay.
So one save on the Terminator brick, the big one.
Okay.
The Lynx is gonna put his 4 damage gun into the grav tank. So it's 4 shots.
Let me just check out its other gun here. Or is that its only assault gun and it advanced, right?
Yeah, it's the only gun it can shoot when it advances.
Alright.
Oh, it's D6. It's not 4 damage. What? I think it was. So,
Is it D6 plus
hang on.
1 or something random? Or no?
No, I think it's just D6. It's just D6. 4 shots, hitting on 3s with the reroll, and wounding on 3s. The reroll. 3 wounds.
All right, Mr. Caladius Grav Tank. It's not a great start. We do have a 6 on Fate Dice here. I think Valor would use it. Just burn
Where
that
are you
guy for
at?
6 damage.
I'm at 8.
You're at 8. Is there a reason for me not to just use the 6 here? I'm gonna use a 5.
Use a 5.
Ooh, spicy.
Okay. And
So he
then-
could, Valdor could go the basically the opposite way about it. If he kills the Grav Tank right here, he could then port Incarn and charge the Voidsman, and then he gets Overwhelming Force anyway. It's like a bit of a roundabout of the other way to do it, but this thing is saving on 4, so it needs to make 1 more.
Okay, so that saves, and then the next one. That would fail.
That's probably a CP reroll, I
Could
imagine.
try
That's a
to
huge
hit
loss if that
the
Caladius
line.
goes down, because you
saw-
give up Bring It Down as
You
well.
shot this Fire Prism already, right?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, just obviously this one you should spend it then, because if you shoot the Laris, it's free. Yep. Okay, rerolling.
There's the reroll. Drum roll, please, chat. He makes it. Oh, no.
So I did take 6, or 5, right?
5. Yep. You're on 3
So I have
wounds.
Oof.
Okay.
We're just making these 4 ups today, chat. And those Rangers really don't want to be shooting at a Caladius Grav Tank. That's not really a good shot.
I think what we're gonna do
Might have a Void
is we're
Weaver
just
tap
gonna
into it, do we?
finish you. Since these guys don't have angles, we're gonna finish you off with the Rangers.
That's so dicey. That's so dicey. This turn has gone very well for the Custodes. This is
try.
significantly less damage than they expected to take, I imagine. Just some bad dice, I think, from Valdor, and I would have liked to see that Incarn teleport over there into the side here. Could still happen, though. The problem is that they're AP1 sniper shots going into a 2+ save. We do have Illic. He's kind of funky. He has a AP3 3 damage gun, so he at least puts it on a 4. He has devastating wounds, so could fish for some mortals, but then they get a 4+ fill up band against it.
So
We'll
start
see.
with Illic's shot. So he hits on
Here he
a
comes.
2, and he will wound. Are you T12? No.
I think it's T11. Yeah, T11.
It says T7. I'm guessing that's wrong.
It's this whole army is just 9th edition.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's why Trajan has 7
Um,
wounds. Like I manually put him to 7.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's-
Alright, so hitting on a 2 from Illic and wounding on a 5 with a reroll.
Oh, no!
Another 10 guys.
That's so sad! Already used the Fate Dice on damage there.
They will be
That would have been a big hit.
hitting on 3s, and we can reroll one of these. And we're wounding on 6s with a reroll.
Oh, Valdor, they reroll
One
everything!
wounds.
Valdor, no!
That's frustrating. I can't.
Is
do
that an
anything about
optional?
it,
Illic certainly says they may reroll the wound
Um,
roll, right? That's definitely not a. They don't. Yeah, they would not reroll failed wound rolls. There's no way. No. We can't remind him. That's an unfortunate. That's an yeah. You can reroll the wound roll. Yeah, Valdor might be tired, chat. Oh, no. Yeah, maybe not the best execution of the universe here. That might be the whole game, honestly. We'll see how much damage the little stuff here. I mean, we have all these Shadow Specters to shoot. Like, they're going to do a number on these Aeldari Custodians, I assume, but after seeing Valdor's dice, who knows? If we see enough of the Aeldari Custodians killed here, that could be good, but I am a little bit worried for Valdor. I think he's going to be pigeonholed into the corner here.
Honestly, I'm just going to use -1 damage because it's free. Like, I'm just going to use it.
Warwalkers have not shot, but they don't have line of sight to the Caladius because of the ruin in the center. So the only things that could shoot the Caladius were along this line, basically. So it was the Rangers, the 2 fire prisms because of the linked fire, and the links. Everybody else doesn't have line of sight.
That's a wound. AP -3.
Yep.
3 damage then. As of before, but then you use -1 damage, so it goes down to 3. And then the missile launcher misses. The other guy, you're on 1, right?
Yeah, no.
Somewhere?
Yeah, he's in the back. I put it on.
Okay. So we'll start with the missile launcher first. Hits. Wounds, that's only AP2.
That'll
Does
burn
someone
him.
have cover from this? I don't know.
Well, it has to be...
There's no way.
It's
It has
this
to be
guy.
this guy and... Probably not. Because you could just say you're drawing line of sight from this part of the base.
Okay,
And then
so that kills that
series.
guy. And then the Bright Lance hits. Doesn't wound. I have my wound reroll left. 1 save with the Bright Lance. That's AP3.
Like the inbound.
Okay. And then all that we have left is the Shadow Specters. So it's 6 shots. Reroll. And T7, so wounding on 5s. The reroll.
Oh, good shot from the Spectres
3
here.
wounds at AP3. These will be 2 damage. AP2, excuse me.
So 1 goes through.
2 damaged.
So it was 3 and it's 2.
Yeah, 3 down to 2.
Okay.
And they can move 6 inches. Which way? do
Man,
I want
Sawyer's-
to go?
4+ inbounds were on point this turn. He made so many good saves. I think Valdor absolutely needed to bring in the reserves that turn. His army's fast enough. I don't really know what we're keeping them in reserve for. He needs this. Like, this is the make or break for this game for the most part. If he puts everything into these Aeldari Custodians, he does a bunch of damage to them. Or if he puts everything into the grab tank. But missing the drop in the back here is huge. That's that was a potential sort of like game upsetting move right there, and just didn't do it.
And then this guy's gonna die. We could fire and fade something. Does it anything matter? All this stuff is dead. Well, yeah, I guess we'll 2 CP, fire and fade the Death Jester.
Just gonna pull this
Back
guy
over
back to the
here.
objective, so at least we have something holding it. Scary part here would be if that second Alaris unit jumps in and makes the 9-inch charge, but what can you do about that at that point?
Yep. And then
The purple void, both the Void Weavers shot into the Alaris over here. Unfortunately, they missed half their attack somehow, even with all the rerolls. And then the Alaris just bombed his saves and it was okay. Yeah. The Void Weavers, also their range isn't that great. I think he did still have range. Yeah, he would have just barely, but they don't have infinite range. Only 36 on the Void Weavers, unlike the big 60 on the Fire Prisms. Yeah, I mean that's like
start over one overwhelming force. This is impossible. We'll discard overwhelming force.
That's I don't know, that it's not a very bad turn. I will not lie to you, chat. Now we do have a couple of reactive abilities we could potentially do here. Obviously, these Aeldari Custodians are going to push forward. We might trigger the reactive move on the Rangers to get them out of the way of the Lynx and put the Lynx farther back with the Phantasm to make the charge harder. I mean, maybe there's a universe where the Aeldari Custodians push forward, everybody pulls back a little bit, and then they fail their charge if you make it like a 6 or a 7. That seems a little bit tough, but
just flat
who knows.
So this guy can't really get out of here though, right? Like he just
No, he's fucked.
his base is too big. Okay.
I can definitely see Valdor's game plan. I think he just yeah, I don't know. I think undercommitted to the back line. And maybe a little bit to the Fire Prism. Also forgetting his rerolls on the Rangers is a big deal. That was unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. The Warwalkers, I guess, were a little bit stymied by the terrain. They do move 10 inches, though. If both the Warwalkers had pushed to where the Rangers are right now and the Rangers had made a big front line, what you can actually do with the Rangers is move them really aggressively. This might have been the actual play. Is you take the Rangers, you basically put them where the Lynx is. The Lynx pushes back a little bit. And then as a response to the reactive move from one of these units moving, you actually move the Rangers forward. And you try to pin the Aeldari Custodians into where they are so they can't move. Or if the Custodians move forward, you make it so that they would have to kill the Rangers in order to charge, basically. And then that, at the very least, eats their shooting. Because you're going to lose something this turn, and if you can make it so that you keep the Custodes' movement as small as possible, that's good for you. The Custodians have good maneuverability when they're in Deep Strike, but once they're on the table, they are very slow outside of the Blade Champions unit. So they're only moving 6 inches around. Anything you can do to slow them down is huge.
What's the range of them? The closer I can. Okay.
I will say, chat, we are still, early days of 10th edition. Valdor did mention to me that he actually hasn't played that many games with Aeldar so far, because most of his opponents concede to him before the game. It's just the problem with playing Aeldar. I think Aeldar are so head and shoulders above every other faction. No one wants to play against them, almost regardless of the list that you're playing. And you can kind of tell a little bit that this list feels very conceptual. Like, mathematically, it should beat most armies in a shooting match. But that's really not how 40k works. Math can go south for you. The matchup could be bad. Or you could just have unfavorable terrain, which I think is, what's happening right now. And the big laser beams on everything can't all get on the same target all at once. So it definitely doesn't have the perfect target priority that I think it wants to do. I bet if Valdor went back and reoriented this list a little bit, then he would be doing pretty well. Eldar run into issues with things like guard indirect spam. I have heard that before, actually. I had a funny anecdote from a local RTT. I wasn't there. I was streaming invitational games, but a friend of mine said that he played against a local Eldar player who's like, pretty sweaty, I guess. And he was playing Imperial Guard, got paired up against Eldar. The other player got a little bit excited because he had a free win against Imperial Guard on the books, playing his Wraith Knights and his Wraith Guard or whatever. And then the Imperial Guard player just picked up everything in the Eldar army that wasn't Wraith Construct keyworded and said go. And then just beat him on secondary scoring. And apparently words were said, tensions were high. Things were a little spicy after that, which I can appreciate. But that, it goes to show you, basically, in my experience, they don't like a cursed cultist either. Oh, I can see that for sure. A 4-up into a 5-up into respawning guys, you're just like, oh, what do you... It seems, you're gonna Phantasm away from this, 140-point unit idiots? No, you're not. And if they touch you, they'll kill you. That's why we play the game, for sure. True, and even when you play pure Harlequins, you find it hard to find an opponent? That's insane. Yeah, people see Void Weavers and they get flashbacks to last Adepticon's Void Weavers when they were... Was it one Adepticon ago? It was, right? 2022? And it was the Void Weavers were the most disgusting thing in the game. They were like 80 points or whatever and had a huge laser beam on them. So using the Ranger's reactive move up here, I apologize if the overlay's on top of it. Reactive move on the Rangers being triggered to move them farther away from the Aeldari's Custodians. They are going to be safe this turn unless the Aeldari's just put all their shooting into them, which I don't think is a bad play. Probably see that happen. What we didn't see was the Custodes use their free revives. Big advance here from the Blade Champion squad. Going to get into this Void Weaver. Awkward if they go into the Uncarned because I don't know if they'll get their rerolls unless they string super far, but then it seems a little bit bad. Then they wouldn't get that many attacks anyway. I don't know if they'll go into the Incarn this turn.
Yeah, we'll overwatch these guys with the...
Oh, overwatching with the Incarn's Flamethrower.
Sure.
Hail of Boom.
4 shots.
That is a good name for that. Yeah, I have played against that. I played against that backed up by a Shadow Sword. It was kind of terrifying.
4 saves, AP1.
Like triple Wyvern, double Basilisk, triple Mortar teams, I think. No Medusa batteries, but I don't know if you play those anymore. And the Custodes just make all their saves. All right. All right, Sawyer. I wish I could roll 4+ saves like this guy. I would win so many games of 40k. Oh my god. But yeah, that was a tough game. I had to play super duper sweaty Thousand Suns. It was the mission where there's no middle objective too. So I couldn't even like push mid and hold it really hard and try to like blow up the Shadow Sword and then push the center because there was no mid. So I had to body block. I got 1 unit onto my side objective. I got Magnus onto my side objective, like way off the corner. I had to body block the Shadow Sword so it didn't kill Magnus. The artillery doesn't really kill Magnus. But I then just like threw Marines into my opponent's objective until I eventually won. But it was a tough game. It was probably one of the hardest games in 10th edition I played. Well, you have to worry about the indirect fire debuff then, right, too? If the heavy tanks, the heavy artillery can get to 2s, I think, but some of I don't remember if they're all keyworded heavy. Because you can get +3, -1, basically. So you net +2 to hit. Oh, this Scout Sentinels let you ignore that. Yeah, never mind, chat. Yeah, you can get to 2s pretty easy. I forgot about the Scout Sentinels. How do you forget about those things? They're so important in that matchup.
Basically, just wondering if I should actually put these guys on the board or not. Excuse me. Okay, I don't think so. Maybe I'll just bring them in as well. Like, just go for the choppy.
Yeah, Guard were one of the few factions that got they got stacking plus like hit modifiers, whereas most of the other factions that gave their units +1 to hit with their army ability did not get the stacking modifier, right? So like Adeptus Sororitas got like cranked on that. Leagues of Votann got wrecked. It's just really sad, honestly, that they overlap the +1 ballistic skill. It's the problem with making heavy +1 to hit rather than -1 to hit when moving. Because then you can't stack it with anything, and it was like a real mistake, I think. You have to specifically make a bunch of your buffs +1 ballistic skill, and then they forgot halfway through. I wonder if the heavy changes maybe, or the hit modifier change or something was a late stage design decision. It kind of seems that way. Because a bunch of stuff got wrecked by it. Yeah, the Scout Sentinels also give reroll ones, yeah, for sure. And then you can get ignore cover from the Hellhound if you shoot the Hellhound's Hunter Killer missile at somebody. So you can basically entirely ignore the indirect fire penalty if you can see what you're shooting at. With other stuff, you can hide the artillery and still shoot with impunity.
Save the Rangers.
And it is a lot of like AP2, AP1 and 2, so ignoring cover is a big deal.
I'm gonna move my Caladius a bit. important than the moving things. I think just,
Yeah, and then it'll get lethal
I guess
hits
it might
because
have
it
to
gets
be
the heavy keyword. Yeah.
past the wall to shoot the fire prison. Or
It's
the-
kind of matchup dependent in my experience, because if you run into a matchup that doesn't die to like sort of like reasonable strength but low AP, kind of mid damage shooting, like strength, it's all strength 8, strength 10, like AP 2, right? And so some of the stuff just doesn't die to that. Like, you know, so that's gonna tickle a Wraith Knight a little bit, but it'll kill all the stuff that isn't a Wraith Knight on the table.
I guess I could just go fully. Can I go in the tree? Oh, I can.
8. I guess I will just Phantasm. This Warwalker.
So
Then.
we're flying through the air with the Caladius
I
over
know.
here.
I'm so bad at telling you this. I guess I could 3D measure, right? So I could go line 3D. So I'm right up against the wall. If I make a line, so it's gonna be what? 3 to go up. Well, it's 3 to go through. I'm touching it, but the problem is my base. What's the width of my base?
So it's 6 inches high. So you have to go up 6 inches.
Played it with Abaddon and Terminators, and Dark Obscuration won the game. Oh my god, that's gross. That stratagem is so insane. What an absolutely incredible strat. The fact that it doesn't like,
Okay, so
it's not stealth or unshootable, it's stealth and unshootable. So even if you have stuff within 12 inches of it, they still get wrecked and they still probably miss. It's crazy good.
I think, but it's going to be. Can I actually fit the tank like that?
Maybe.
Nah,
Oh, it doesn't fit.
We're gonna fight the conundrum though. Okay, well I'm just gonna do this then. I'm gonna move it here, and I think I can probably just shoot something on that side of the board anyways. Let's see. Right, like there's something.
That is a lot of shooting. It's a lot of DACA right there. I do want, like, man, why do they keep Earthshaker carriages? It's so wild to me.
I am gonna Phantasm.
Like that, our unit archetype is just like so weird and toxic.
This guy is.
What are we moving? Okay, so trying to get the Void Weaver out of charge range here. Unfortunately, I don't have the movement to really reposition anything over here, honestly. The Lynx is just going to soak the charge and die.
Okay.
Most likely.
I think I
Go
just.
ahead.
What's the toughness of the Lynx?
They're all T9, I think. Yeah, all my vehicles are. Most of my vehicles are T9. Warwalkers are T7, and the Void Weavers are T6.
I
So
think
Lynxes and Fire Prisons are T9. Warwalkers are T7, -1 to wound, and the other stuff is T6.
Okay, I think I blow up the Lynx melee, so I should probably just shoot the things that aren't the Lynx. So did you run with the Rangers?
Yeah, I already did that.
Okay, they just didn't get that far. So
Yeah, I rolled
this
it too.
guy's gonna- Okay, so I'm gonna shoot. So the Alaris grenade launchers into the Rangers and guns into this.
How's the weather? It's pretty bad, actually, chat. It's not quite 100 degrees, but we are in like high 80s, mid 90s usually. So my little apartment that doesn't have any air conditioning gets pretty brutal, especially once I have like my headset on and my computer's running. I was actually about to go open a window because I think it's getting evening, so it's a little bit chillier. But yeah, it's the same story over here. Pretty crazy because it's like, I don't know, comparing it to these poor Eldar Rangers getting vaporized by Lars Custodians right here. Comparing it to like past winters 10 years ago, or past seasons 10 years ago, it's like so much hotter this year than it was previously. So it's like real. You can watch global warming happening in real time, basically, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah, they're all 5s. Yeah, they're just dead. 19, yeah.
Okay, and then spears into the Void Weaver. 10 shots. Hitting on. Is this -1 to hit or anything?
Nope.
Okay. And then winning on probably
It's T6.
5s. Okay, so winning on 5s, rolling because you're a vehicle. I got 5 at -1 damage.
Yeah, it's just always on a 4-up.
Yeah, fair.
I'll make the first 4. So it's failed 1, and then what's failed next? So it takes 2 damage.
Yeah. Okay, this unit, we'll just shoot the wardens into it as well.
Okay.
Actually, I guess some of them can't see it. Actually, I think a lot of them can't see it. So, yeah, I can move it a little better, but let's just do the one guy who can. We'll shoot it, and then everything else will just shoot the links, I guess. I'll soften it up a little bit. So the one guy that can shoot the Void Weaver. Both hits, 5s, 2 wounds at -1.
First one fails. I care about saving this Void Weaver.
Yeah, Chad, I was
have
excited
much
about
better
Illic Night
things
Spears
to
unit too.
use Fate dice on.
You should call him Illic and the Night Spears, right? But, you know.
Okay, and then-
Just got vaporized with those ballistic grenade launchers. That unit's so crazy. Aeldari's Custodians are, they've really got everything going for them, honestly. Like, solid melee. They have both 2 damage and 1 damage shooting. They can shoot both of them together. And they get rerolls against most of the units in the game. Even if they don't get rerolls, they are blasting. A bunch of individual blast weapons is pretty solid. They're just like the infantry sweepers of the faction. If you think, you can think to yourself, like, well, Custodians are pretty good at shooting infantry, but they're only 2 shots apiece. So, like, until they get to melee, how do they really clear hordes? The answer is you take more Aeldari's Custodians. 5 of those guys will kill, like, basically any infantry in the game. With an attached character, assuming they have one. If you don't have an attached character, you're a little tougher to kill, but it's not that bad.
Big guns into the fire prism. We're hitting on 3s now because I'm...
Hey, Damned Legion in chat. How's it going? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Hope you're having a good one down there.
1, 2 saves at -3.
Okay, so saving on 5s.
Nice.
Save. How much damage does your gun do? D6 plus 2?
D6 plus 2, yeah.
Honestly, this isn't a thing that's important to stay alive, so I'm just going to use a 5 now.
Okay, we're gonna save it. Wait, and then it's a little gun. Those miss. 1 at minus, I think just -1 damage.
So 3. 6
Down.
damage.
Okay. This guy to shoot the Incarn, I guess, with a shot from his spear. He hits. He's winning on a 5. Rerolling is your character. No. The guns on the these boys are assault, so as long as I have line of sight, this guy's fine. This is there. This guy can't. This guy probably can't. So just 3. Actually, the Blade Champion doesn't have a gun, so just 2 guys. So 4 shots.
Yeah, I mean, you could shoot 3 if you wanted. Oh, Blade Champion doesn't have a gun. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Yeah, 3.
yeah.
2 shots.
And then 5 or
I'm gonna be honest, I love the fact that Blade Champions are a frontline combatant now. You used to take them, you took them occasionally in 9th edition, just as sort of a character killer. They're kind of a cheap missile. But I do appreciate that they're, first of all, they got the 2+ save back, which is always kind of weird they didn't have one. And then they also, like, are actually good in units. They're actually, like, a good buffing unit, rather than just being a single, like, solo combatant. It kind of feels like the chapter champion sort of unit archetype is a little bit not that useful.
no, you know what? Probably not.
There's terrain there.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking past this. So I'll shoot the links with the big gun. I'll just shoot the links with everything. I think I'm out of range with the little gun anyways. So links with the Clavies.
Okay.
Because nothing else I can do. This one's hitting normally. I'm moving on. 4's real. Or 3's real.
Okay, saving on 5s. Roll your damage. 20.
20.
Yep. Go ahead, explode.
No,
They do
actually,
explode.
you have a lot of little. You have the Void Weaver on too, so that's probably good for me.
Yep.
That's a big explosion right there.
So do I keep
Links
my own Void Weaver?
Detonated. Oh my god. Kills a Void Weaver?
Does the Void
Oh,
Weaver
chat.
explode? Yep.
Oh my.
No way. The Void Weaver
Just
also
do that
explodes? We
later.
chained an explosion?
Warwalker takes 5.
That turn went from being bad to being disastrous. Oh, jeez.
And your Alaris. Take 1.
Oh my.
And then.
Damn, Legion, congratulations on your
the-
commission, or
and then how big does
good
this
luck
guy
in your commission job.
explode?
Hope it comes
Oh,
out
it's
nice. You
always
should
6 inches,
post some results in the painting and modeling
So he
channel on
kills
the
both
Discord.
Warwalkers.
Give yourself a shout out.
That was
What
like
you guys are paying Valdor Black for betraying Iron Hands? It's true. My man should have been playing Space Marines. I said Space Marines were good in my tier list video today. He took umbrage. He was like, what? Space Marines are terrible. And I was like, are they? Because Inceptors are a hell of a drug, my guy.
Probably. All right.
What did you roll your Feel No Pain over here? for that?
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
Okay.
So yeah, let's just charge into the Incarn.
Okay.
So 2d6 with a
Valdor
reroll.
could have pulled the Incarn out of there.
An 8. That should be.
I wouldn't be surprised if Valdor's a little checked out at this point.
That guy must base.
Is it better to base over here? I think it probably is.
Yeah, could have stolen that advance and charge by just putting the Incarn on the top after the Void Weaver up there died.
Guy has to base.
I think I want to make this guy easy to get. So this guy can't base now. So then I'll just move him here.
Yep.
So I also have 0.1. And then this guy can't base, so I'll just move him here. And then this guy can't base, so he'll go over here, and he should be able to base with the other guy there.
Ooh, let's see if we might get the whole unit in. No rerolls though.
It's a charge range. All right. So we'll just do my thingy-mabob. So I pretty much just need to do. So I have to base, so I can't get the guy. Yeah, a little bit behind the enemy lines, but I can't. So this guy's gonna go there to fight off that guy, and this guy goes there to fight somebody.
Yep.
I'm just gonna double check if there's any offensive stratagems that would help me out here. Avenge the Fallen. I haven't lost a model here yet. Slayers of Nightmares would help, so we'll do that. +1 to wound against monsters or vehicles.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do. So I have +1 to wound. I'm gonna do sustained hits. I think just for more attacks. And yeah, we'll do the Blade Champion first because he's cool. And we'll do. You have damage, right?
Yep.
So if I should do the 3 damage. 100%, obviously, because it goes to it goes as rounding up. I assume like normal.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we'll
3
do-
becomes 2, 5 becomes 3, etc.
Yeah, we'll do the 3 damage. Right? So he's got 5 attacks, and we're doing exploding 6s.
Okay.
Does he do anything?
Oh, I
else?
should lightning fast here. Do you reroll hits against me?
Nope. No,
Sure.
it's
We'll lightning fast here. I need to live. Go ahead.
So that
That explodes. Oh, that misses, but it
so
explodes.
I'll leave the 2. So I'll just leave the 2.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, 3 sets of devastating hits. So 3 by 2. So it'll be 3 by 2 instead of 3 by 3. Or does devastating winds work against?
No, it still halves because it halves it before it turns it into mortals.
Okay, so it'd be 6 mortals.
I just don't get to make saves.
Okay, well, that was very good. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with spears.
You say that
for
wasn't very
20
good.
attacks.
It's extremely good. It's very strong.
Yep. 20.
It's 5 attacks, turned to 6 mortal. Get out of here.
On 3s because you're lightning fast.
Oh yeah, you joined the Discord.
I'm gonna leave those because there's 5.
Yep.
And then I have a plus 1 to
250 point
wounds,
Custodes
so
tank
it's
killed.
four.
445 points in one shot.
I am.
To be fair,
10.
like 100 of those points had already been 3/4
So
of the way
AP on
killed
these
by
is-
the other custodians
So minus 2.
So just on
before it
force.
exploded.
So I guess we just.
And also, that was kind of irrelevant. It was like very spectacular, and it killed more than Valdor expected, but it was kind of irrelevant because the Aeldari's custodians were about to kill that Lynx anyway.
No. Head.
Oh my god. Oh no.
And then
Oh, chat. This is a disaster. No, we needed to pull the Incarn back up here. Nothing would have happened to it. You could have been right there. Could have been right there. Yeah. Yeah, Nurgle Man. I don't know if you caught it, but the Custodes Grav Tank tagged Lynx for like 20 damage. It blew up. It hit a Void Weaver and a bunch of other vehicles, and they also blew up. And the mortal wounds compounded and killed everything in that corner. I think this is gonna be a quick one, chat. Yeah, we got 12 specters, 12 shadow specters. What could your opponent possibly do?
I guess you only have to do it if you're.
So the unit comes back over here. They shoot
Guess they have to
these
have
models to death. They shoot, one guy goes into this grab tank, kills it.
okay, and then that's
And then they charge
that's my
this grab
turn.
tank, so
I
it misses all its
score, so I can get
attacks.
tempting target, and I
And
get
somehow that ends up with a win of the game.
I need 2 or more units. If only one.
Yeah,
unit,
didn't fate
I get
dice,
to-
yeah.
So I have 3.
That's true.
And these are both gone.
I mean, I
Oh,
think
I
to
guess
be
it
fair,
matters.
that was like so many mortal wounds that the opportunity to
4
fate dice wasn't even great there.
attacks, strength
And your
six,
save,
so
the fate
4
dice save
attacks
only
and
saves you 1 hit,
sixes.
but
No, these guys are T5.
it is what it is.
Oh no, they're T. That's because it's the old sheet.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm rolling this. 2 hits. Oh, 2 wounds. Take that. No.
This is the Void Weaver attacking now. Get wrecked, Custodian Guard. Alright, no.
Okay. Get a CP.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be
Draw
a
card.
relatively rapid ramp up here. Man, if
Should be on
Valdor had seen the Deep Strike play in the deployment zone, this would have been a different game, I think. This would have been flipped right on its head, Z. Because we would have been down this Custodes Grav Tank, we would have been down this, the Incarn wouldn't have been there. Sawyer could not have pushed as hard forward as he did, so he wouldn't have gotten as much shooting over here. It would have been so different. So different.
That is very good.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. So, don't need to do anything else with my command phase. Movement phase. You have to bring. I score 5 on primary again. We have to bring in the rest of my stuff. We can bring these guys in on this objective, hopefully such that they can shoot something? Question mark? Obviously, this doesn't happen until the end of my movement phase, so just preemptively.
Yeah, here you go.
No man's land. So I guess this guy won't be able to shoot, but the rest of them should.
All right, Shadow Specters. It's time to
Oh,
fully
actually, no, what am I
convert.
thinking about?
There's an Alaris Terminator unit here.
They have fire and fade built in. We can just. Oh right, I have to be 9 inches away from you. Don't I? That is a good point.
Oh,
Shit! I just moved your guy. Where was he?
ooh.
He was just next to the stand.
Leviathan pictures? I love Leviathan pictures. Ooh.
What I'll
Dark
do?
Age.
I can make a
actually-
I can make a
Nice.
9-inch bubble. if I
Looking
can.
good?
Nah, it's fine. I'll just be here because I get to move 6 inches after I shoot. This is fine.
Yeah.
I'll Nobody's gonna shoot me over there. Nope. And all those guys are in range. Yep.
So what are people up to otherwise, everybody? I guess we're just chilling for the ramp up of this game for the most part. How are people doing? Anybody playing some games this weekend? I've got an RTT scheduled. I'm so excited about. I was gonna go to a GT, but unfortunately we had some games scheduled Sunday, so I'm not able to go to 2 days. But I have a one-day event, and I haven't been to a tournament in like 3 weeks, which is like killing me. Because of invitational stuff keeps happening on the same day as tournaments. So I'm chomping at the bit. I think I'm gonna take Tyranid. It's my first IRL event, I think.
So this guy's just gonna fly forward.
Yeah, just gotta hit him in the butt. Yeah, to be fair too, Valdor said he's not very used to playing tactical objectives. I don't think he has like the. He doesn't have the killer instinct quite yet.
This guy.
Where you're like overwhelming force, take a note of everything on an objective immediately, you know. That's what you got to do. This is a reasonable amount of shooting here. The Outark Wayleaper has a Reaper launcher, so that's he's good for 2 damage, potentially. Or maybe 4, if he shoots the Strength 5 gun and wins 2 times. Maybe we just see an abysmal turn of save rolling here on the Custodes part. Could happen. Krons versus Nids Friday. Krons versus Black Templar Saturday? Hell yeah, dude.
While this guy was still engaged, while these guys are still engaged. And then I spent a CP.
Is that IRL or on TTS?
Let me just read how the thing works.
Sounds fun either way. Getting ready for the Nova Open. Oh, that's the end of the month, right?
Once per battle, when enemy unit ends in normal.
Are there spaces in that? Should I go to that? I usually, or a couple of years back, I went as an exhibitor, but they ran out of exhibitor space, which I was a little bit shocked about. So I could go as a... Oh, there's a Ceaseless Hunter. Oh yeah, saves him from the Shadow Specters. Well, didn't think about that. That's unfortunate. Just kidding. We're not rolling a million saves here. That's just going to let the Outark shoot. Yep. Alright, well. They've decently hunted themselves into a better place to go. Although, technically, the Shadow Specters aren't here yet. Yeah, so they can go somewhere else. Yeah, because that's end of turn. That's a proxy. I should probably go to the Nova Open, right? Sounds fun. What would I play at Nova Open, chat? I don't think... My 1,000 subs up a lot of 3D prints. I don't know if they would let them. My Tyranids, though, also have a lot of 3D prints, but much harder to spot. And also, a lot of not 3D prints, too. 31 spots still open. Yeah, I played... My last Nova Open GT... was 2019. That was I was playing for like a month, and I got mad at the bracket system, but it is Nova, and I have a lot of friends there. So worst case scenario, I'll just like, if I get a bad bracket, I could just drop, go do something else. But I was in contention for best Tyranids, but was in one bracket below another Tyranids player. He dropped after round 4, and he placed one place above me. I was so mad. I was livid at the end. That established my everlasting hatred of the Brant bracket system. My 1,000 Suns. You can't tell that the Rubric Marines are printed, to be fair. I could get more Infernal Masters. When's List Submission due? Let me look. Ooh, 27 days. It's a coming.
It's probably here.
Found a guy that took the models from Total Warhammer 3, made them STL printable. Oh, that's sick! That's super sweet. Yeah, the Total Warhammer 3 demons are nuts. Yep. Demons make such a good printing project. My demons are mostly printed. All my greater demons, or most of my greater demons, are plastic. But my little demons, like I couldn't be bothered to buy them. So a lot of my little demons are printed. Assembling little demons takes so long too. It's like a whole day project for like 10 idiot models you don't care about.
Fire prism.
So I just printed them all in one piece. And I like them. I got little blue horror, like tentacle monsters. I love them. I have like flamer dudes from Gamic, which look great.
One hits. One wounds.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I probably never go to US Open for that reason, honestly. Like Nova Open, at least it's like downtown Washington. Like there's a ton of stuff to do. Like you could just go to the Smithsonian if you want to. If you're like, you know, get bored, and it's like a huge like. Oh, finally we fucking got this. Bring it down out of the hand. Holy shit! Killed the Caladius grab tank. Thank God. At least the unit's dead. So I'm happy.
But not more than 15. So that's
But like a U.S. Open, like what else are you doing? You know, you got to go to Tacoma and like do a bunch of other stuff if you don't get a high bracket, and then your placing's locked and there's no reason to play anymore because you can't increase your placement. Like what even is that? It's like I don't know, chat. I'm gonna stop harping on it. I just think it's really poorly thought out. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe that's the reason. I'm like, if I go, I want to get as high a placement as I can, right? That's what I'm there for. That's what I'm there to do. I want to get the W's. But somebody who's just like, oh, I just want to jam games that are fun. That's probably better for them. Not for me, though.
Actually, no. Let's not do those yet. Let's do these. Let's do these Shadow Specters. They'll put all their shots into the Aeldari. So 6 shots.
How does the World Championship qualifier work, chat? Are there 2 heats? Is that how it goes? Or is it just 1?
-1 damage chat.
Oh no, it runs all weekend. Okay.
Damage 3.
I see.
Not good enough.
Okay. 4 hits. No wounds. You get to move 6 inches. This Void Weaver. Put all of its guns in. Oh no, it'll put its shuriken cannons into the wardens, and it'll put its big gun into the Aeldari.
Dr. Diplodocus, what workshop mod we're playing? We're on the. If you go to !how to play, there's that's the new player tutorial playlist, and that will get you a video on how to install the TTS 40k mods. It's also on tts40k.com / or just tts40k.com. If you scroll down to the bottom, that will have all of the information to download the TTS mods. The map is on tts40k.com/maps. It's from the season 8
these are the
map set.
Sorry, it's 2 wounds. Sorry, it's
Okay, so
2 wounds on the Terminators.
So that's a save, and then that's a fail. How much damage?
So a flat 4, so that'll just kill the wounded one.
And Nova, at least
And
they get
then
the champion
the
prizes.
shurikens.
Yeah, but like it's like you get like a box of models, right? Like,
So these
all
will
right.
still be wounded on 5s.
I don't know. It's like a consolation prize. You know, like, oh, you were locked to top 80, but at least you got like 10 blood letters. Oh, thank you. That's what I wanted. I appreciate you.
5 saves if you won 2 damage into the wardens.
I roll, and they're getting covered in the back there. I guess 2 at a time.
Okay. This fire prism is gonna shoot his big gun into the wardens, and he's gonna put his shuriken cannon into the custodian guard over here.
Yep.
Or sorry, not the wardens. My bad. The Aeldari Terminators. I'm saying the wrong word.
Okay, this is flat damage 6.
Flat damage 6. Yep. 1 hit.
Tricoria, it does feel like that a little bit. Well, it's like,
1 wound.
yeah, well, you lost all your games round, like, first round, but we know that you were really trying to win with your, like, weird, you know, I don't know, like, Black Templars homebrew. So, like, here's the consolation prize for beating a bunch of people who are, like, aren't very engaged in the event, you know. Like, okay, cool, thank you. Appreciate you. So, like, yeah.
1 wound.
I feel like that's reductive, but,
AP 1.
yeah.
They're fine.
You know, I'm not, like, particularly interested in prizes for, like, doing mediocre. I like best in faction prizes, I think, are good for that. You know, encourages more of a faction diversity, like, gives you something else to play for rather than just, like, top faction stuff. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Reroll 3 hits and wounding on 4s with a reroll. 1 wound. It's AP 2, so that'll actually kill one. It's flat 3 damage.
I have a shield guy, so he'll be on.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Will not kill one.
Yeah, I have a local store that started doing prizes for the you would be like eligible for a prize the first time you played at an event at their store, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think generally speaking, it would give you like, if you were new, it would give you a prize. But it would also encourage new people to come because they would be like eligible for extra raffles and stuff. It was pretty cool. You know, stuff like that is good, I think. Definitely. Or I like challenges personally. That's one of my favorites. Like you set challenges before the tournament, and then you give out prizes to people who complete them. You know, you're like, oh, like assassinate your opponent's warlord, and like, you know, by the end of the game or something. And then like everybody who does that gets into a raffle. That kind of stuff. You know, stuff that like spices up the gameplay. Don't just like give people prizes for no reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm like a boomer. I'm like, ugh, no participation prizes. But I guess I am on participation prizes for new people.
5 EP on extend battle lines. Discard both.
Damn Legion, thank you so much for the 50 bits. I don't know if that popped up in the on the overlay, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Smoking boots, yeah. I liked the smoking boots and the like average Joe. Average Joe's another one that's really good. It's you give a prize to the player who plays dead middle. That's a solid one. So like in a 32 player event, you would like prize out whatever, like 15 and 16, I guess, for a special prize. Like then, you know, you lose 2 games, you're like, well, I could 3-2 with low tiebreakers and get average Joe. Like, that's kind of fun. Like, I don't know. That one's a good one. That's like actually like an achievable goal. Smoking boots is kind of almost incentivizes you to just throw games, which is always weird, which is like not fun for anyone. But something that's like, you know, score an exact number of points. I think I like that. I always kind of have ambitions of running GTs. There's like an American Legion next to my house. I bet I could run a GT in it. And I bet I could get 30 people. But I'm always like, I would run like, you enter a raffle if you score like 69 points or something. You know? that kind of stuff, like, it gets my goat.
Does anything over here do something when I move? Other than Overwatch, do you like to...
Damn, Blizzard, thank you for the kind words, man. That's really appreciate it. I like to hear that. I can't take all the credit though. Thanks for like people. Thanks to people for being sweet too. I think I don't know how much, you know, credit I can take for the community being sweet. I think that's just the community being a bunch of sweet people. I don't think that's necessarily my fault. Dude, this Blade Champion, it's about to go absolutely ham. These guys are gonna murk some fools. Bunch of sweethearts. Oh, you're sweethearts over here.
Bring out some wires to shoot.
Watching people do like real like play by intent plays and allow takebacks and stuff in finals games is always kind of heartwarming. Or always like, oh, by the way, here's how the rules work, like, and they're reminding each other and like just playing like the best game of 40k they can rather than like trying to gotcha each other.
I'll leave you all alone.
And then these guys. Strategy I might use to just have to move from. Okay.
I don't know if this Nova Open Primer
Your
tells you when list submission
secondaries.
closes. Can I like decide what I play at the day of? How does this work? How does this event work? I don't get it.
Be able to score stuff next turn. These guys, how many shots do they get?
I'm gonna put the clock on you, so I think I'm done moving. I just don't know if you
Okay.
want to do a strategy or anything.
No, yeah, you can put the clock on me.
Valdor could gambit here.
I just
He's not actually that low on score. Like, I guess the Custodians haven't... Well, they haven't scored out their score this turn. They'll get extend battle lines. Which, if Valdor had just cooked everything in that deployment zone and camped it with the Shadow Specters, could have cut that off at the heels. And then they'll get Secure No Man's Land. So they'll get another 10 points this turn.
They live, so I think the only thing that makes sense is this.
A Gambit would be good. That would be what the Doctor ordered. But then you'll get the Gambit where you have to engage everyone in melee, and then you'll just die. And you'll feel sad. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be at the end of this round. We'll find out. I don't even know if Gambit's like in Valdor's mind here, honestly.
Defensively, how different is it? The Otark.
Best players combine best sportsmanship, army aesthetics, yeah, and ranking. Yeah, that's a classic best. They used to call that best overall, and then like actual winner was best general.
The only difference is the Autark actually has a 3-up armor save, so it'll be a 2-up in cover, whereas the Death Jester just has a 4-up invulnerable.
Okay, I'm just gonna shoot everything. So
Well, you wouldn't get the +1 if he was against AP1 guns, but it doesn't really matter. I think all this stuff's
spears
gonna
and
die.
it's the sword.
The problem with those are called soft scores is like army painting and sportsmanship. The problem is that it's like super gameable. There were problems where a bunch of like friends would all go, and then if they paired each other, they would just max out each other's sportsmanship scores, and it would like really. It became a popularity contest a lot of times, and it wasn't really that great.
AP.
Sportsmanship's always weird
Is this into the Autark?
Is in the deck.
because it's just
Into the Death
it's such a it's arbitrary basically.
So we'll just make it first.
But on the flip side, painting's cool. But I always think painting prices should be separate. I do like having a best overall where it's like, well, if you do okay and you have good painting, then you'll be fine. It's been day of list submission? Alright. Well, I'll definitely consider going. It's actually driving distance for me because I just have to go down like the East Coast Metroplex. Which is like maybe... If you leave at a good time, it's like maybe 7 hours. Which is not too bad. It's certainly not like Midwest GT driving where you go like a million days. I would just have to get a hotel room probably. Sounds fun. I do need to get out of my apartment actually. I'm like going a little stir crazy with all this invitational stuff. Definitely gonna take a vacation after the invitational. I might do some like road hammer, I guess. Maybe go like drive to a GT or something. Take a couple days.
Go. 16 and -1.
-1, so we're saving on 3s. These are 1 damage, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we'll take it on the Autark first.
Oh, this is.
So-
Oh, there's an Autark in this one?
Sorry, not Autark. Exarch. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
The Exarch's dead, and 4 of them are dead, so there's 1 guy left. Yeah, oh yeah, it's dead.
What are the different levels of painting? I don't know if I like totally understand the question.
Nope.
Oh, I don't know if there's like usually. I think the common practice, you talk about like commission specifically. The common practice, best like common practices are like you do a basic paint job. Some places call them like tabletop, like front line, and like centerpiece or something, where you do like a real basic like color block with a wash, maybe like an ink paint job, maybe as like the level 1. I used to do 5 levels when I did commission painting. And then you'd have one where you also do like 1 to 2 layers of highlights on everything. And then you do one where you do like real nice. And then like you could do like really like, you know, display cabinet style stuff. But usually 3 levels is what like most places give for tabletop paint shops. And like 3 being the really nice ones, and 2 would be like what I consider I paint my stuff to, and then 1 would be like a basic like sort of contrast like battle ready paint job.
Exarch first, so on 4s. So just lose the Exarch.
I thought about taking up commission painting again, but I wasn't sure if YouTube was gonna like kick off super well. So I was like, I wasn't entirely. I was like, maybe I need something to supplement it, so I might do commission painting. But YouTube's been okay, so I haven't had to. Also, I haven't like picked up a brush really in a while, but I bet I could get back into it.
Lose 1 more.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
And then the tank,
We're fine.
everything. Yeah, the tank, everything into them. 4 big gun shots on 3s, and 2s rerolling.
Why? Oh, because it's twin linked.
It's twin linked indeed.
So these are just on 5s. Lose 2.
Commission work in New Zealand
Oh,
not so
and
good.
recharge
Like
is
it's
8.
like the business isn't good, or like
This
people
is
don't paint
very
well.
effective.
It feels like I know there was like some controversy back in the day about like there were like painting sweatshops that in like Thailand, where they would do painting for like cents on like a model, and you would send them like buckets of miniatures and they would paint them all for nothing. It feels like you would get a lot of that like splash over if that's still an industry. I don't know if that's continued though. A lot of people like doing it local because then they don't have to ship stuff.
Cover, so we're saving on 3s. Save.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think in most places it's a side hustle, to be fair. I only know a couple people who are full-time commission painters, like personally. But for most people I know who take commissions, they do like a couple a month maybe, and they make a couple $100 and then that's it, which is fine. Some people, I don't know. There's a lot of demand when it gets down to it, but it would be tough to be in a place where people don't want to ship.
So multi-charge and above.
Hey, here comes the boys.
Okay, they try.
The old double ones. Jesus. Good thing they're right here.
Actually, I get a free read.
This guy's sword is so long that he would make it even on double ones just by like reaching his arm out.
So base both. So we put 3 into that if I have to. And that's it.
Honestly, you might actually get farther that way, because that way you don't have to base with as many guys.
Right.
Don't forget about your that guy in the back.
Okay, and then we'll do the unit 2 Alaris into your guys here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. First, I'm going to roll this unit first into your Viper zone. A 5. I don't actually think that makes it. Where do I use my reroll here? I think I used yours to kill my fire prisoners. We'll reroll this one.
I wonder if, based on this game, Valdor would continue to take the Lynx in his list. I think, honestly, the Lynx's, like, #1 best place might have been right here. And it can just, like, sort of cover... It can cover through the center. It can cover down this line. But it felt like it got in his way too much. Because he had to push it up in the middle, basically, to do any work with it. And then he just has to screen with Warwalkers and stuff that he doesn't really care about. The Warwalkers are not very good in this matchup because they have like, random damage weapons. So I think that's the screen, the #1 screen for sure.
We'll try this one.
The Lynx felt like maybe a little bit of a dead drop. Lynx needs a foot seer support? Yeah, maybe. For Fortune. It is a little bit sad not having the auto 6 on a stick.
Okay. Attacks here, we'll do...
Just like Valdor's gonna have like so many 1s and 2s stuck in his hand here, which is awkward.
We'll start...
Wraith Knight, yeah. I think honestly, that we were trying to not play a Wraith Knight was the reason that the Lynx is there. Because the Wraith Knight's just like so dumb, right? It's like this big idiot. It's impossible for your opponent to like interact with. It just does everything. It's like kind of fast and super tough to kill. Like shoots like a ridiculous amount. Ignores line of sight for the most part. And my co-commentators here.
Got it.
So everything's going to be hitting this guy on 2s and wounding him on 2s, so I'll just change the color of the sword attacks. Yeah, so I'll do 5 like 3 ones. Okay. On 2s. So I get 3 more sword attacks. And then 1 more spear attack. And then on 2s. Okay, so it's going to be 4 that are damage 1, and then 12 that are damage, or 8 that are damage. 9, sorry.
These are damage. These ones are damage 2?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just take the damage 1 ones first. I take 1. Let's roll like 6 of these. I'm dead.
Okay. Then the 2 more spears into the thing. So this, and then 2 more attacks come back. And then what is it? 3s.
Okay, let's just roll this many. I'm down to 2 wounds. Probably still need. I have a CP left. I have 1 left. No. Let's fuck it. Be dead. Do I explode? No.
Ah, that suppose
So
would have been
just
funny.
come to the objective.
Enemy outpost
Yep.
stormed. We didn't even take it. But, you know, just in case.
I guess I could be on the objective and can try to shoot it. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna get too particular.
Well, we
And
have
then some time left, and then we'll do over here.
a grand total of 4 Aeldari versus all these Custodians.
There.
Seems good.
And some technical attention is- I don't think I'm getting the captain.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess
promo
that's not
Twitch is
4
getting
guys
2
in
into the
fight.
stream. Yeah, definitely. Can be distracting. I apologize for distracting you, damned Legion.
Fives.
Why don't we lightning fast here?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Sure.
Fire Prism's gonna live.
Does that make sense? No, actually, no. We'll save the CP. We might need it next turn to score an extra point. We're definitely not going to win.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave the 2 1s and then add 2 more dice.
Hmm.
And then this is just what 5s we're rolling.
Yeah, Valdor can push for a pretty like reasonable score now. He won't be blocked on. Oh, he'll be blocked on Primer unless these guys fail their leadership. But yeah, saving the command point to Insane Bravery, that means he gets 5 more points. So how many points could Valdor score here? What are his best draws?
5 for each.
There's a single Custodian on this objective, so if he draws Overwhelming Force. No, he already drew that.
Okay, no longer
Capture enemy outpost or storm hostile objective maybe.
Draw 2 cards.
That guy's dead, unfortunately. No chance to zip over these guys. Not really sure how you get line of sight to that dude, unfortunately. When's gonna be the next day slate? September, chat. September. We got to cow down to our Eldar overlords for one more month. Just one more month, and then we can play a real game. Hopefully, hopefully. Really, we just need. I think we need to see maybe like the Wraith Knight go up a couple points, and we need to see Phantasm get clocked right in the dome. Bunk. Stratagem is ridiculous. And then Eldar's probably at an interesting spot. But the Wraith Knight's just too good. Also, God, fix towering, please. Holy shit. Tank shock the solo dude? Can you even get over there, though? I guess you could, like, through the air the ruins, maybe. It's really awkward, though, because you have to... You could fly the Wardens, but I don't... You have to land, like, here, maybe? It would be a huge charge. Going up and down, it would be, like, probably a 10-inch charge. Right after Nova in time for Tampa? Oh, that makes sense.
So they would have to roll battle shock, right? Or whatever.
Yes.
These guys are perfectly...
I think they're fine.
Yeah, they should be.
Perfectly camouflaged to the table, by the way. Did not do that on purpose.
These guys are just going to move over here. And...
So we get behind enemy lines? We did, yeah. Very nice. Oh, if we tank shock the dude in the middle, we get area denial. Let's go. Go get him, Fire Prism. Go get him.
Something gets holy within 6 of the center.
Oh, you can fire and fade it, too.
So we're not going to bother. We're just going to take...
Fire and fade it. Oh, no, he's on a 1 CP. Just kidding. Yeah, can't do it.
No,
can't do it.
So we'll just take the... 1 unit.
Dracoria, I hope you have a good time being.
It's just 3 for behind enemy lines. And nothing for area denial, and then...
Yeah, the Deathwatch thing was nuts. I think that, like... I don't know. Maybe it was, like... Maybe Deathwatch was actually changed on the index card or something, and, like, they just posted the wrong version online or whatever. Because I don't know if it was, That's weird. Is that, like, bugged? What the fuck? Yeah, strange.
Yeah, so I would get that for 5 as well, because we have nothing in the center, so this would be 3, and then 5, and then it would go to you, and you can, like, see if you could possibly... Why, I would guess I would just...
No, I'm dead. I just am dead.
So then I'll get rid of those, and I'll get the last 2. Investigate
Very
signals.
Nice. It is weird, chat. I don't know. I think the Eldar problem was probably like the Deathwatch stratagem was like one thing. The Eldar problem was probably like way too egregious, honestly. Because like they're already like 4 nerfs deep, and they need to keep going. They're close, but they're not quite there.
Dude, I'm so sorry about what happened. That was fucked up. That was fucked up.
If anybody has any questions for the players, and go ahead and throw them in the chat there.
I made for good content. It's fine. I'm very. I don't really get. I mean, I sometimes get tilted by dice, but not that often. Just.
Yeah, they said in the in the MetaWatch video that they were looking at like like Sororitas, like AdMech, some of the Space Marine chapters, like those stuff would get fixed. So I think I would definitely expect buffs as well as nerfs for sure.
Point, it's just like, there's also
plus also a whole new Tyranid Codex and then a Space Marine Codex right after that, right? So like a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, it's like combo. It's like wow. It's still, like for example, your hit rerolls, I think converted like 10% of the time or something. Like they were so just abysmal. It was.
But like I mean, it's fine. Like I don't like if you were someone that I personally hated, then maybe this would be more frustrating, but that's not the case, so like...
Well, I'm glad to hear you don't personally hate.
Yeah, that surprises me, to be honest. That's the first I've heard of that. That's not what Valdor says in PMs, I can tell you.
Yeah, clearly, you know, actually, that's not the first time the Lynx has blown up. And I actually had the Lynx blow up in another game and kill my Death Jester in 1 shot and something else.
Oh my god.
As well. So there are many reasons why the Lynx is coming out of the list.
You gotta stop overloading that guy with ammo.
Yeah. Especially if you hull measure for it, when it blows up, it just like
Yeah.
does D6 morals to the entire world, and it just like, yeah, this is not.
Yeah. How do you think it would have done if you had just taken this placement with it and it just fired basically like these directions the whole game?
I don't think it would have made that much of a difference. I mean, obviously, knowing that it was gonna blow up, that would have been better.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, it has a lot fewer options of what to shoot at if it's here,
Right.
because he can hide stuff by going like here, because its angle is like this, so he can hide stuff there. Because from this corner to here, it can't really
Well,
see
if
this
it's-
whole
if it
objective.
just does this, right?
Right, but then it can't really see this objective.
Right. Yeah. That's like tough to get to. I don't know if there's really.
There's
any
no way.
to do
There's
that.
no way. This is the only. Like the other advantage of this is like, the main reason I moved it here was mostly because the 9-inch off of this was helping to stop,
Right. It
deep
becomes a
strikes into
screen
the
rather than
middle.
an actual gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
which is often what I used it for. Because again, it's huge,
big.
right?
You just
So
use
it's
it.
like,
Yeah, it's just a gigantic thing.
it's like huge and like awkward to kill, sort
Yeah.
of. But like, it's obviously the fact that it's huge is particularly problematic when it blows
Yeah,
up.
I mean, for the points,
especially
it is
when it
gigantic.
blows up, and then the other thing that it blows up into also blows up, blowing up something else that, whatever. It's, yeah.
Yeah, that
There was
was
a
crazy.
yeah. There's a question in chat about how you feel about the Cobra.
No, because it's just well, actually, I'll show chat. I have one.
It's just too big.
Oh, give me a second.
It does have a D impaler. Have you never wanted to impale your opponent?
Ornaments.
Oh, I forgot to bet my channel points on myself. Now I look like a phony.
You silly goose. You didn't believe.
I kind
not
of did.
believe.
But turns out
Oh,
when you...
I have a scorpion. Scorpion and the cobra are the same size, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So there's a scorpion. So it's not that much bigger than a lynx,
Yeah.
but it is bigger. Like, look at this thing.
Too big.
Like, the cobra has a different gun, but it's the same hull as the scorpion.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Like, look at the... I mean, it's beautiful. I really like the aesthetic of these vehicles. They're really cool looking, but they're massive.
Right.
Like, it was not as much of a problem in the previous edition where you could just fly over buildings.
Oh my god. It's
But,
huge.
like,
I'm
now
so
that you have to
fucking-
take this huge pie plate and like carefully maneuver it around like corners.
And you
Like-
don't even get like the occasions where you're like there's a second level on terrain or whatever and you're like I'll go here because like you
Yeah,
can't do that anymore.
yeah.
That's
It's a little bit better if you're using base measuring, because then you could do things, because it has like the base on this guy is the same base size as a fire prism.
Oh my god.
It has like a little tiny flying base, so you can like put it here where it's like half. Hold on, hide deployment zones. So you can like put it like here where it's like half hanging onto this thing, and it's like still hidden because its base is on the other side. like-
well maybe. But I think it's unclear how the line of sight rules actually work.
Well,
Probably depends on who you
yeah.
ask.
I don't know. Anyways, I would I think it's one of those things that's like, it's cool in theory, and maybe it's like better in person when for like a lot of events that don't have as dense terrain.
Right.
But the other thing is, like, you don't even benefit from being huge because you don't have towering, right? Like,
Yeah.
the advantage of huge models in 10th edition is like they're towering and they see over stuff. But like,
Right. You get
look
all
at how
drawbacks.
low to the ground this thing
I guess
is.
like you get cover really easily. But whatever.
I mean, so does everything.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I like the idea that this thing could just like lip. Just like he puts his little tiny fin behind and he's like, cover. I'm hiding.
I know
Can't
there was
see
a
me
discussion in WTC where it's like they're like, well, you can put if it base measures, the hull can the model can be off the edge of the board, but can you draw a line of sight to the part that's off the edge of the board?
Right.
There was a whole discussion, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because what if it's like, what if it enables you to like,
Oh, see,
draw
yeah.
an angle that you couldn't normally see, right?
Yeah. I gotcha.
Like I
Interesting.
mean, the base is like this, right? So like, what if you put it like this? I
Pretty good.
mean,
It's pretty good line of sight right there.
but like, yeah,
So what you're saying is that Cobra
in
OP.
person, you're just like you're hoping no
in
one
person,
walks
someone
past
comes along and just
this
hits,
end of the
hits
table.
it
Yeah,
and just like bam.
Yeah, you're like
breaks your
$700 for
$300
a model,
model,
shatters into a
whatever,
million
yeah.
pieces. Yeah. Amazing.
Shouldn't have been so sweaty, bro.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been so slippery if you weren't so sweaty.
Exactly.
You know.
If only resin weren't so fragile.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I guess resin bends more than breaks, right? Well, I guess it bends and breaks.
Yeah, it bends a little bit and then it breaks immediately. Well, thank you guys for the game.
Yeah.
Custodes definitely did Custodes things. Made a lot of saves, which was great.
Yeah,
Good for them. Love that for them.
Yeah, I think Eldar are favored into Custodes, but I don't think it's. I think you have like a solid like. I think it's like not wildly favored. Like I think you have a solid chance, especially with good training.
You definitely need to. Yeah, this board I think was helpful. Like the layout was good, and I think that is definitely. I think I was very used to it in 9th to like not jam. Like there's very few armies, like meta armies that you could like jam your Custodes army into and actually just like smash them. But I think in 10th, generally speaking, you just jam them and you just go and you kind of just hope there's not enough. Even against
your world eaters now, basically.
Yeah, I was scared, but I still was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. It's like what else do you do? Especially with tacticals, like you can't not set yourself up to score them later. So you need to just be in the middle of the board, and whatever happens.
Right.
Basically.
Once you're on board, you're so slow.
The only thing I did that
you gotta be there.
Yeah. The only thing I did that was like any semblance of strategy was when I brought my Terminators in. I was like, I'm gonna make him pick a unit to Phantasm and then kill the other one, and try to kill the other one. So I didn't even like I failed to charge twice.
Then you did like 1 damage to the link, so that was very good.
Yeah, I still think that was like the right thing to do, even if I obviously didn't charge.
Yeah.
That was the only idea I had going into the game. I'm like, force Phantasm on one thing, try to make 2 9-inch charges happen, and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I mean, all the reactive and like, there's like a lot of sort of mind games I think in this matchup in the beginning.
Yeah, like I never used the Warden. I never had to use the Warden thing.
Right. Yeah, we were considering like what happens if the Wardens don't pop their Fiona Pain, does Zalic Nightspirit just try to kill Trajan like right up?
Yeah, because I noticed you had a lot of like. I was worried one turn where you had a lot of things like here, and I was like, well, he could just like kind of bait me and like just shoot the Wardens because I need to.
I had a lot of things. I had a lot of things all in this corner, and then I rolled like absolute garbage.
Basically, because I was so close to the objective, I was like, I won't use the Warden thing, and if he wants to shoot the Wardens, he can go ahead, and I'll just. I'll minus one.
I left the tank on 3 wounds and killed like 2 Terminators.
Yeah, I mean, that turn was
that was not great.
Right.
For half an army.
Once I jammed and he didn't kill me, it was kind of just just rapidly.
And then the links exploded.
And then the links exploded, and then I made a long charge there. Kill the incarnate.
All right. Well, thanks for the game. I appreciate it. Any other questions?
GG.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a question. If you had the chance, how would you balance Custodes? They're too strong. You got to balance them. What would you do? I think this is general.
For me, I think that the free stratagem should be -1 CP for a stratagem. I don't think it should be free. So you can't just rip -1 damage. I think that's too good. I think that the wound rerolls on the Aeldari should be like the Wardens, where they need a character in the unit to get the wound rerolls against like everything. if they want to leave it as them getting rerolls against basically everything, they should need the character in the unit. So it just makes the units of 2 a lot less efficient against like, again, like literally everything. And
The target or the custodian guard unit?
I think the custodian guard unit should need, like, the Alaris should need to have a character with them to get rerolls against
Oh,
things.
sure.
It just makes the units of 2 a little less efficient.
Yeah.
And then you would actually have a situation where, like, because in theory you beat Custodes because you can kind of stretch them thin, but the units of 2 Alaris are so good at like everything that that's not even that viable because they're also mobile. They're the mobile unit and they kind of kill everything and they deep strike and they're cheap. Like they do a little bit too much of everything. So
Right.
I would target them, and I would focus on the units of 2. The units of 2 they need to be worse somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe even just not allow you to take 2. Maybe even just make it unit of 3.
Yeah.
That's what I would focus, and I would make those free stratagems not free. I would make it -1.
Honestly, if it for me, I honestly think like mechanically, I think like Custodes like work fairly well. Like all of the units are viable, clearly. Like Wardens are good, Custodian Guard are good, Alaris Terminators are good. Like yeah, some of the Forge World stuff, like the weird stuff, is not that great, but like whatever. And like I think it's just like I think some small points nerfs to the best stuff.
Yeah, the Cladius should be more expensive. Like
A few points per model
absolutely
here and
more
there.
expensive.
Or I guess it's not points per model anymore. It's like
Yeah. You
points
could
per
bump a
2
lot of
or
stuff
whatever
by
it
like
is.
5 or 10%. It would probably be fine.
Yeah. The Cladius, in my opinion, should be like 240 or 250 points, like minimum. Like it's it's.
I think I
But
would
I
take.
heard that
I think
Gladius graph tanks couldn't one-shot an Armiger, so they're bad. I was told that by a reputable source.
If it was my choice, I would just make its blaze cannon like I would go back to kind of how it was before, where it was 2 like maybe higher damage shots or something, or
yeah, like 2
I would
6
shift-
damage and then like
I would make its profile. I don't know. I would basically try to shift some of its power to the bikes in the shooting, because like it's so much better at bikes than bikes at killing vehicles, to the point where it's like,
yeah,
well,
bikes
I'm
are
never gonna use them.
bikes are like
I'm
stone
never gonna
garbage.
use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bikes should just
Yeah.
like have this gun, like maybe one shot with it, and then this you can just do something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased because I own 10 bikes in person.
Yeah.
I like the bikes, but they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, getting back, I think for armies like Custodes, Thousand Sons, a few of the other stuff that's like strong but not the tier that like Genestealer Cult and Eldar are, I think like very small points nerfs to some of their best units would be all that I would change.
Yeah, you could definitely. That's
for the
definitely one
update.
thing they could do. Yeah. They could just make like Custodian Guard 50 points and Wardens, and like everything's 5 more points, and then the Clay.
Yeah, just make the best stuff 5 or 10 more points and per unit, or 15 or whatever it comes out to.
Yeah.
And go, and then that I think would be enough. And then the other main thing, honestly, once you hit, you got to hit GSE and Eldar hard, is to really like, you got to help out the stuff on the bottom, because it's down there.
That's almost more problematic, I think, than the stuff in the top. I mean, there's more stuff that's garbage and unplayable.
And the stuff that's bad, it's like it's bad and it's like not. I don't know. It's like not interesting.
Like imagine
like it's just bad.
It's like bad in a lame way.
Imagine having just invested a ton of time, money, and effort into like making a really sick Votann army.
Right.
Like
how guys, I made a Terran themed Votann army where I like painted all my visors gold. Isn't it sweet? No.
Like
just throw it in the garbage, I guess. Get fucked.
And like, how long have Death Guard been bad? Like,
Death Guard might be tough because they do seem a little incompatible with 10th edition, because you're really incentivized to take tactical objectives, and they're just so bad at them.
Clearly they need to make a Death Guard Biovore.
I mean, yeah, like basically, like make the malignifier super sweet and like generate poxwalkers in your opponent's deployment zone or something.
Yeah. But I think more than other than hitting GSC and Eldar hard and some light points nerfs to the stuff that's like, I guess Imperial Knights as well. Imperial Knights, Custodes, Thousand Sons. I think the main thing I would focus on for balance would be to help the stuff in the bottom.
Yeah. Just remove the towering keyword. Imperial Knights are fine.
Yeah,
get
I
that shit
mean,
outta here.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, you're not wrong. Honestly, that if you got rid of the towering keyword, you probably don't need to do anything else to
Yeah,
Imperial Knights.
Imperial
But
Knights
they're
are
not
totally
going to do
okay.
that, so whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, sigh.
Oh my god. Well, there it is. How could you help Votan? I don't think points can solve their scuffedness. Goes a long way
Yeah.
though. It's an army based on losing your own dude, so having cheap models would be a big deal.
Yeah.
But you need
I
like
mean-
+1 ballistic skill, like +1.
They just need better
HP.
guns. Like they just need to hit way harder when they
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah. I mean, part of it's too that like none of their guns, none of their hit modifier stuff stacks. So, like half their guns are heavy, or they have characters that give them +1 to hit, and that doesn't stack with their tokens. So they all got a ballistic skill reduction, and then they didn't get an improvement to it because they can't.
See,
stack
if they
their
change, see, the thing is, if they change the tokens to improving your ballistic skill,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, now
Then it
we're
all
cooking
stacks.
the gas. And
So
then
that-
also
that'd
do
be
a
a simple
points,
fix.
a points drop. Then I think it'd be
that could be a simple fix right there. Is
Yeah.
instead of the token giving you +1 to hit, it gives you +1 ballistic skill.
yeah.
then it
Fern,
stacks
and
with
Fernkin
everything.
Pioneers and Sagittars were like basically free. I think that faction's actually probably fine.
Yeah.
And then also they're
Change
like
change the
more
token.
elite
So,
stuff hit
so
better.
there's my hot take. Change the tokens to increase your ballistic skill instead of giving you +1 to hit, and give them some points, some significant points decreases, and I think you're probably looking much better.
Yeah. Also, let the Brokir Ironmaster buff the vehicles again. That guy's so stupid.
Yeah, just make him into a make him function like a freaking
Why
tech
is he-
marine.
why is
What
he a
is he
tech marine?
doing?
Yeah. Why does
Yeah.
he make your entire your opponent's entire army get like +1 blast against you because he's like a huge unit?
No,
So dumb.
Yeah.
he's literally a tech marine with servitors.
Yeah.
But in Votan.
Yeah. And
But then he's
gives, the unit the Thunderkin he's attached to +1 to hit, so then you don't benefit from your protection tokens. Great.
So
Thank you.
bad.
Thank you,
All right.
GW. Thanks for the game,
I'm
guys.
gonna-
I'll let you guys go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off.
GG.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
Thanks. See you
Peace.
guys. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
All right, chat. That's going to be it for us today. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Whoa, I've got a long night ahead of me, chat. I got to do a video for tomorrow. And then 10:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Guess what we got going on? It is the T5S2 Season 7 Invitational Semifinals. The Aeldari Civil War of the Century will be occurring. I have heard tell, chat, that there will be an Avatar fighting a Wraith Knight, which is fucking so sick. So, who will win, the Revenant or the Wraith, I guess? So come hang out with me for that. That's going to be tomorrow morning. Please visit over on the YouTubes. It's not going to be here. It's going to be on YouTube. And, yeah, I'll see you then. Cheers, everybody. We'll go raiding real quick. Find somebody who's playing 40Ks. I might also stream here tomorrow. It depends on how much time I have, but I kind of want to be... I kind of want to do some stuff. I don't know. I want to play some practice games. But also I want to play some video games, so who knows what'll happen. We'll find out. I'm trying to find Warhammer channels. That's what's going on right now. I'm trying to find Warhammer. Oh, I've clicked on my own channel. That's not helpful at all. Any games going on? Building miniatures? Ooh, no. Just Age of Sigmar games. Just Age of Sigmar games. Oh, somebody's playing. On a phone, I think. Which is something. Spiky Bits is live. Nice to see them still around, I guess. Oh, they're live to 2 viewers. Oh my god. How far the mighty have fallen. Holy shit. Alright. Cheers, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. And keep it classy.